What's up, y'all? We're live, and tonight we're going to talk Barbies. You might have seen it's a little bit different than something we do on the channel. And the reason for that is y'all remember Aungielina, a good friend of mine, a good friend of the channel. I'm always curious to see what my friends are into and collecting. So when she got into Barbies, it's something I looked into, and it's something we've wanted to plan for a while now. And I'm glad we got to do it tonight. So let's welcome back the one, the only Aungielina. Welcome back.
Hello, thank you again for having me on. It's always an honor.
Yeah, it's been a minute, but we're here and
Yes.
we're finally going to talk about Barbies. And
Yes.
like I said in my comments, guys, it's not just pink cars and shopping accessories and all that stuff. There's some gems in there.
I like to think so.
Yeah. But last time we talked, we were more so on like the comic book and the Marvel side and all those figures. What got you into Barbies?
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know, as a girl, I've always been into Barbie, but no, as a child, no, I did. I did always like dolls. Dolls are actually kind of what got me into action figures. Because I'm in that rare minority who doesn't really see that big of a difference, but don't mention that. But yeah, so I mean, I just typically got Barbies as a kid because that was the girls section. So my little kid brain was like, well, I can't buy for the boys section, so I'll buy Barbies. And I ended up just really liking them. And so, as I got I kind of fell out of it. We all kind of reached that age, at least I did, especially in high school, when you're like, all right, I'm too old for toys now, so I'm gonna stop. And then I took like a really long hiatus. And then every now and then I would like see a Barbie and be like, oh, I really wish I was still into Barbie, but I'm not going to get it. And then I became an adult and got my adult money in my own place, and I was like, you know what? I like Barbies, so I'm gonna go buy them again. And that's how
Yeah.
it happened again.
Are there some that you retroactively went back to get just because you remembered it? You're
Ah,
like, oh, I can.
yes. When I was okay, this is a silly story, but when I was like a little kid, like around 9, there was this Barbie I saw online, and she was the ballerina Juliet Barbie, and I thought she was like the prettiest Barbie in the world. So I literally like printed out a picture of her, and like I cut the doll out of the picture, and like I would
Oh,
play with like the paper cut out of it. And so for my birthday, my father bought it for me. And I have no idea what happened to her. I remember like opening her up for my birthday and being like ecstatic that I finally had this doll and like playing with her the whole day. And then like she ceased to exist from my memory. So I don't know what ended up happening with that doll. But like a few Christmases ago, I asked my mother, I was like, I want this doll and I would like to get it from a parent again. So she bought it for me. So that was kind of the one that was like always in the back of my mind.
oh, that's cool. I thought I
Yeah.
was the only one that did too. Like sometimes there'd be stuff from Toys R Us catalog I would just cut out. It's like, oh, this looks good enough for. I did that actually for a Valentine's Day card from Batman the animated series. It's like I never had a Batman figure from that show, so I'm like,
Okay.
here's a
Yeah.
cutout of it.
We make do as kids when we don't have any money to actually like make it a reality.
Right, and then when we have money, we make irresponsible choices.
But hey, we're happy, so that counts.
Right. Real quick, Jeff. What's up, Jeff? Said just gonna get this out of the way. Pack's a huge nerd and smell. Okay, educate me on Mattel things. Thanks, Jeff, for your very awesome contribution. Right. But today thank you again, by the way. We have a presentation for y'all for some stellar Barbie collections.
Yeah.
Before we do that though, I do want to play, this is the first ever Barbie commercial. It's only under a minute long, so what I'm gonna do is remove us so that way we can full screen it, okay?
All right.
All right. All right. So a lot to unpack from there.
Oh, classic Barbie.
Yeah. I do want to say though, like that stuff that I'm like looking at that commercial, I'm like, yo, that's some brand marketing that like toy lines now do for adults, like accessory packs,
Oh,
like
yeah.
all that stuff. So they're a lot more similar than people think.
Yes.
Yeah. um, Jeff said some classy ladies. He said, "Real talk though, were they all gay until Ken showed up?" What? I don't know, dude.
I mean, Barbie. You know what? Barbie is allowed to be gay.
Yeah. But did you have any of those things? Any of those like have you seen any of those like in a
Yeah, so so Barbie came out around 1950. She
Mhm.
was actually based off of a Lily doll out of Germany. So basically, I think the creators of Barbie like went to Germany and saw this doll idea, and they were like, you know what, that's a great idea because like girls didn't really have something for themselves. So they stole the idea. They literally did and like made it in America. That's great American engineering, and Lily was actually a more mature doll, so there was like a lot of complaints about making Barbie because she was like an adult woman, and they didn't
Mhm.
feel that was like appropriate for children because at the time they were like, oh, children should just play with baby dolls. But anyway, she ended up being like a huge success. So that yeah, I've had some older Barbies, like 1950s, 1960 era dolls. I really like their vintage look because it has such a unique style to them. Because like in
Mhm.
the 2000s, Barbie tended to become a little bit more streamlined. So I've had some of the older dolls. I don't really think anymore. But I always thought it was like a really interesting look to Barbie, the kind of the beginning era.
Yeah. It's definitely a product of its time. I think if you look at every era and like the
Oh yeah,
mainstream retail ones, you can see which one's from the 90s, which is from the 80s to
exactly,
60s.
yeah, there's, like, subtle changes, like,
Yeah.
Malibu Barbie, when it was, like, all, like, the tan and, like, the bleach blonde hair for the beach, yeah, it is fun to kind of mark the, like, evolution of style.
The 80s one where she put like a faux leather jacket and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
like, the really big hair and, like, all the really, like, intense eyeshadow.
Mhm.
Mhm.
That's awesome. Before we get started with the presentation, I do want to say, what's up, Angelo? He said, and Ryan B, thank you. Said, top of the evening to you, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Thank you. Jeff says, 100% gay, straight, ace, demi pan, more powder. Exactly. Cool. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the presentation.
Yeah.
And so let's go here. All right. So before we get started, thank you again for this awesome slideshow you put together.
In my, like, spare time, I just threw something together.
All right, so we're in the Classical Goddess Collection, release date 2000, so
Yeah.
only
So
10 years ago, because I
yeah.
keep forgetting it's already 23 years later.
It's yeah. How I wanted to kind of do this is like I just decided kind of for like an introductory thing. I just was like, well, since you don't really know much about Barbie, I just pulled a few of their collections I think are just really cool that kind of showcase Barbie is like can be kind of an artistic statement for people
Mhm.
who just think it's kind of like a play line doll line. So I pulled some of my favorite collections that I just remember off the top of my head, and I kind of put them in chronological order so we could kind of see maybe some of the subtle evolution of Barbie style, and then maybe even a little bit of a de-evolution. So
A
that's why we're
de-evolution.
well, Barbie nowadays. I'm just saying. So I decided, we're gonna start. I did a little bit of research. I will say I have a Barbie collection, but I'm not like a Barbie collector, so I'm not extremely knowledgeable on Barbie. Like if like some people can like look at a Barbie and say like what their face sculpt mold is. Um,
Wait, so they all pinless, or
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like the
exactly.
evolution?
It's like if someone sees a legend and they're like, "Oh, this is the old Bucky skull." I'm like, How do you know that?" So I don't know that information. So everything I found was a quick Google search, and some things were hard to find. So we're
Yeah.
gonna be starting with the Classical Goddess collection. It's one of the earliest collections that I know of that I really like. So it was released around early 2000, so very start of the decade.
Oh, okay.
You go ahead, click.
All right. So first one we got up is Aphrodite.
Yeah, so the goddess of beauty, I just wanted, so I think we're just gonna kind of go through it. Are there any immediate impressions you have of her without even really getting into it?
Uh, so it's mostly the soft goods. So
Yeah, which
stitching work and the paint imprints on her outfit look amazing. Hair sculpt looks good too. I'm sure that wasn't easy, but that's real hair. What do you mean hair sculpt? I just want to point something out real quick, Angela.
yeah,
He says, "I collect dolls, but not Barbies." But that's fine. But if you collect toys, they're also dolls. They're all the same. um, those are the things that stick out to me. It's hard to perfect soft goods at like a smaller scale. So like that's pretty impressive,
yes.
even for 2000s.
Yes. So I believe, I mean, like I said, I'm not an expert, so some of this information may be wrong, but I think when this line first came out in 2000, it was around $30, which obviously $30 was a little bit more back then, but still, compared to some of the prices we'll get into, that was a really good price, especially for this type of quality. Obviously, I think Barbies do shine a little bit because they do have the soft good material. I mean, that's like half the draw of Barbie dolls is that you can like dress them and stuff. So the reason why I really wanted to pull this collection in particular is that we'll look at another kind of goddess line later on down the
Mhm.
road. But I really liked that they tried to stick with like the ancient Greek style, or at least like what we think of like when we think of like ancient Greece. I don't know how historically accurate it is. I'm not a Greek expert. But what I also really liked about Aphrodite if we want to go ahead and click to the next slide, because I have a few more
Yeah.
pictures up close
Uh,
of the doll.
my bad. Angela, at least I mean some of them look good. Yeah, smart. My bad.
Yeah.
For misunderstanding, dude. Okay. So let's go and look through. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, that's
So
up close. Yeah.
yeah. So gets us a little
This
bit
is
more.
taken from Angelina's camera. So if you're
Oh
not
no, no. I found these images on Google. Uh,
shout
but
outs to Google.
what I really appreciate about her is that like she's not as dark as I would like her to be, but I could tell that they were at least trying to go with some sort of like Mediterranean ethnicity when her with her look. They at least try to make her look a little different than just mainstream Midwestern Barbie. And I do appreciate that for like a Greek character. Like I said, I love her hairstyle. I love that they even have like a rope like wrapping around it, like the height of it, like the
Yeah.
details on both her crown, her earrings, even her necklace has a lot of like intricacies to it. Um, so
Could
yeah.
could you imagine giving this to like? Because I mean, obviously, this is more so for the like adult collector that collects the
Yes.
Barbie. Giving this to a kid and untying that hair knot in the top.
Oh, I know.
Like, I
This
like.
is that is a good point to make. Most of these dolls are kind of aimed towards more of the adult collector because I did kind of want to showcase that there can be like adult, you know, directions for toys.
What?
Yeah,
Okay.
I know. Is it this surprising, guys? But yeah, no, the thought of like a child just getting their like rubbing little hands on it. Oh, give me nightmares.
Yeah, that thing is getting removed fast. The cloth. I do like how they went for like you said, a more tan tone. It's not like. Could you imagine if they made this like Barbied up, like blonde hair and like.
Oh, oh, just wait. There's a reason I put this line in here.
Oh
So
no. I'm guessing this is part of the devolved era, but I will say this though: presentation of the box could have been a little bit better from what you showed me from other
yes,
Barbie boxes. But
I think Barbie learned after a while. I mean, I still think they tried to do something with the box, obviously with like the simple Greek design on it. So I'm not saying they completely ignored the box being a part of the appeal, but I think Barbie eventually kind of learned that some people do like keeping them in the box and that the boxes can be a part of the product.
it loses its value. Wait, let me ask you this: do you keep yours in box or take it out of the box?
Some Barbies are out of box and some are in box. Mine is kind of dependent on the value of them.
Well, you're all in luck for tuning in because she's going to open one of those tonight live on
Oh,
there.
you guys want to have me have a heart attack?
Oh, okay. So before we go to the next one, Jerry Sabron said $30 was a lot around 2000s. Toy Biz Marvel and Lord of the Rings were around 8, and then 2 packs were 16. Okay. Yeah, because we think $30 now. It's like, oh, that's cheap.
Yeah.
It's like what, 2 Burger King meals or something?
Just compared to some of the prices though that we'll get into that Barbie starts charging, this
Yeah.
was a 30 was nice when it was happening.
Oh yeah.
And before we move on, how much do you think this doll goes for on a third party?
$30.
30? You think it kept its market value?
Okay, on aftermarket price.
Yes.
23 years ago, I'm gonna say this goes for 150.
150. Ooh, okay. It goes for around 130 to 170.
Boom.
So yeah, you're right in the range.
Okay, cool.
All right.
And feel free to participate too in the chat if you guys want to guess some of the prices of these. Also, that's not a bad, jump up compared to what it was before.
Yeah, it could be worse.
Yeah, and I'm sure it is. We're gonna move on.
All right, we can go to the next one.
All right. So next one is.
All right, so keeping in the same line, we have the goddess of wisdom, which is Athena. So I'll let you go with first impressions before I jump into more about the doll.
Oh, that hair again. Okay, so let me ask you: they use real hair, right?
Well, they don't use like human hair. It's some sort of synthetic fibers. I couldn't tell you the exact type that Barbie uses, or if Barbie's changed what type of they use, but it's supposed to mimic. I mean, it's brushable, washable. I don't suggest putting on heat.
Wait, if there's such thing as synthetic hair, why are we doing hair transplants? I'm just kidding. All right, so first thing I notice is the hair. The braid looks awesome. I like the. I'm gonna take a wild guess. Is that owl magnetized or is it sculpted into that gauntlet bracelet?
That's a good question. I don't think I think it could come off. I bet it's probably rubber banded or something, or it's like
No,
like the feet can like hook onto it. I don't think it's molded together with a bracelet, but I could be
that
wrong.
would be weird. You're moving the arm down and the owl still.
They all just
standing.
like yeah.
Same thing, just like the other one. I'm noticing nice pattern prints on the. What would you call that? The cardigan, I guess.
Yeah, it's like a shawl.
Yeah.
Drapery.
I will say this though, because like I noticed it on Legends, like the sculpting work on the face, like the makeup, you could see the different variations of it. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah, so I really enjoy this one. I think it's mostly because, I'm really into Greek mythology, and Athena is usually depicted as a little bit more, not exactly masculine, but they definitely like people tend to exaggerate her connection to war, usually by giving her a helmet, usually giving
Oh,
her
that's
like
right.
armor and her spear. So I just kind of liked this as in like it played on a little bit more of like a feminine side of Athena that you don't often see with Athena's interpretations. So I thought that was kind of like a cool change of pace for an Athena doll. Because if someone, I mean, that could be argued because some people might not like it. Because if you honestly did put this in front of me without the owl, because the owl is the sign of Athena, so that's kind of a dead giveaway. But if you knew nothing about Greek mythology and you stuck this doll in front of me and asked me like, "Oh, which Greek goddess do you think this is?" I would have a hard time because it could also just easily be Aphrodite. But I just liked that because it's a nice change of pace. If we want to go to the next, I think I have closer. Yeah. So my favorite,
Wait a minute.
my
Go again.
Oh, I was just gonna say my favorite aspect. I love the dress. I think every now and then, I mean, Barbie's gotten better
Uh,
about it. They had a very generic body shape that obviously does not apply to most people on this earth. But sometimes it's hard to get a really good shape, and I think like the dress complements her well. But like just the wrappings of like
yeah, I
the
didn't really.
toga robe around the dress is so like unnecessarily complex, and I love it for it. Like I love that they did that.
I'm gonna go back to the promo. Okay,
Yeah,
I was like, "Damn," I didn't really notice that until the second slide when you actually see it up close.
exactly.
And again, something like this could easily be removed if this was given to a kid. I'm
Exactly,
glad
you
it
know?
was.
And also just look at that hair. Oh, man, to have, like, hair that long,
Oh, there's
probably
multiple in the back. I didn't even realize that.
mhm.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Now the earrings, they're not removable, right? They're molded into the
No,
ears, right?
I think, Barbie's always been able to take out the earrings. They have, like, a little, like, kind of, like a pin to them, and they have, like, holes in their ear that you just kinda stick into it, so you're able to on most Barbies, you're able to change out their earrings, but they're
Jeez.
very easily lost.
Okay. Now, what body mold is this? Is this the Bucky cap, or what would you say
Oh,
this is?
this was the same body mold they used for, like, 20 years until they realized women have different bodies, so
Really?
curious.
Alright. So you don't say.
How how much do you think she would go for?
It was
The
the same price
secondary.
as okay. This is Athena.
Mhm.
Let's go up. We're gonna go 200. What do you guys think in the
200?
chat?
Yeah,
Uh,
drop your price guesses.
all right. Jerry Spront says she's looking good. Wasn't there a Gladriel Barbie? I remember seeing this in
Maybe.
Toy. Oh, Angela says, but doesn't Barbie pretty much reuse the same body molds? Oh, and
Yes,
like you said, yeah, like you said,
until recently, they did actually start kind of introducing, like, plus size body shapes and all that, and they did start implementing, like, the made to move body, which features articulation, but it's still, like, this is still the most common mold Barbie uses.
yeah. Hey, we got one last year with Hasbro when they gave us Ned Leeds. Finally got my own. So
Okay, so,
I'm saying 200.
200, I would say, yeah, again, she goes for around 190 to up to
Damn,
350.
look at
So yes,
that.
you were worried. You're doing great.
Oh my
All
bad, I
right.
clicked that. All right, so
Oh
what do we
no.
got next one?
So, this is the goddess of spring. I tried to find all the promotional images for these dolls, but like this one, I just could not find one of good quality. That's why it's in like this weird little floating bubble. So I had to like steal someone's nice doll photography.
Oh, the one in the middle there?
Yes, that
Well,
they put on a made to move. So she's not a made to move. That was just a custom, I guess. But I just could not find images of this doll. But
it
yeah.
go ahead, my bad.
Oh, I was just gonna say impressions.
Uh, it looks good. Jerry guessed. Okay, I guess the chat's a little delayed on StreamYard, but he guessed 150, so
150. Yeah.
in the
So,
middle mark
it's a
earlier on. I gotta say, was the one you used on the left, was that the actual promo pic?
the big one isn't. That was someone else's just
Oh,
nice
I was gonna say,
photography of their doll. The one in the floating circle is the promotional one, but it was such bad quality I could not blow it up.
it's like, this has gotta be like, during the early 2000s, I don't know if you remember, everyone was doing photo shoots of the studios that use
Oh,
soft glow filters.
yes.
I was like, okay, this is very telling of the time. Impressions, that accessory, what is that?
Oh, it's like a flower
Yeah,
bouquet.
like the flower bouquet. They all seem to have. I'm sorry if I'm getting this wrong. The thing that goes around their like arms and
Yeah,
stuff,
kind of like that
like
shawl.
sash. Sorry, yeah. I like that stuff. And then again, goes back to the hair has that little thing. like a
Kind of like a
headband going over it.
headband.
Yeah, with a flower on there. That looks good. I like the the one that couldn't be blown up. I do like the accessories with it. And then I can see on the inside she does have the same continued pattern paint on there. Let's
Yeah.
see.
So I think this one is probably I mean, okay, so she's technically a nymph, which kind of frustrates me because if you know about Greek mythology, the goddess of spring should be Persephone, and she's my favorite. And they refused to make her Persephone, so I was like, oh, okay, I guess she's just a random nymph. All right, that's fine. We got Athena and we got Aphrodite, then we got a random nymph. Makes
um,
sense.
feel free to use this time if you want a full screen to go ahead and rant about this.
But, I do like her. She's probably my favorite in terms because I would just call her Persephone. But, I think if I actually had to choose one, I probably like the Athena the most. I think she falls a little flat, this one in particular, because she just doesn't immediately scream Greek goddess to me like the other 2 do. I think this one could just easily be like a generic spring doll. I don't think that, like, reduces her anyway, like, I still think her dress is definitely more interesting because she has all the nice, like, deep purple color, whereas, like, Athena and Aphrodite were very predominantly white.
Yeah.
Um, but, like, her hair, even though I love the long, straight look, there's nothing really special to it. I mean, after looking at this, I was like, "Wow, this could be, like, a really good, like, kit bash of a '70s Wanda."
Oh
'Cause
my
she's
god.
I was like my gears started turning. I was like, "Wait a minute, I'm onto something." But, so if you wanna go to the next slide, we have, a little bit of kind of better look of her. So, yeah, I mean, I like her just because of, my connection to, like, what I want her to be, but I don't think out of the 3 dolls, she's the strongest puller.
This is why I'm sorry, no disrespect to whoever took these pictures. This is why lighting matters because here it looks like it's like just straight up bright, like you know what I mean, like the color. But when you compare it
Yeah.
to what it actually is, it kind of this from this slide kind of reminds me of one of the muses from the Hercules.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's what I was
yeah.
thinking. But
Yeah, some of these dolls were really hard to find pictures of, so and credit to these pictures who I stole from the internet.
now, when this came out, was there like kind of? Oh, I mean, when you read about them now, was there sort of the same sentiments? Like this should have been Persephone instead of Nymph.
Not real like, this slide was really hard to research. There was just not a lot of information on it, so, I don't know how other people feel. I would love to
Yeah.
know because that's immediately what I thought, but,
Yeah.
so alright, okay, well, quick, how much would you think this one goes for?
Um, I'm gonna go 170,
170?
and then Angela says this one looks like Rapunzel from Tangled. Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, full long hair.
Really,
She's actually
you think this
oh,
would be Kid Bash as a Wanda figure?
I
As a
do think so. At least with the other go back to the other one. Go back to the other slide. Like, look,
okay,
can't you
that
see
one,
it?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you can get, in certain angles.
The next one, she kind of looks like Tyra Banks, but
That's fair. All right,
Jerry says 120.
120. All right, yeah, okay, there is a listing for 120. She does go
Damn
for
it! Oh
around
well.
the early 100 range. She is the cheapest of the 3 then. All right, and then before we move on to our next collection, which one was your favorite out of these 3?
Athena.
Athena? Cool.
Yeah.
And then
Yours?
what's your Athena. And then what would you say your general impression with this collection was?
I can definitely tell like it was a start. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like
Mhm.
it had. Yeah, I think I really like this one. This is probably the strongest one of the line with 70s Wanda being a little bit of the weakest. I think for what they were, it's $30 to me. I think that's reasonable, especially since
Yeah.
these are luxury items. You know what I mean?
And like early 2000s, when, the doll market wasn't at all like it is now. So, I think I was generally happy with this line. So,
Yeah.
I like that they try to keep to a classical Greek style.
Yes, and they didn't try to modernize it and put like black leather on it like they did in the
Yes.
early 2000s for
I
everything.
know. They didn't give them like low-waisted jeans and like
Yeah,
the midriffs.
right. What was your favorite? Athena also, or
Yeah, it was also Athena.
all right?
Aphrodite's like my favorite of like I guess like the conceptuals, but like I think how the doll came out, Athena just she has a really good look to her.
I agree. This one could have been. Maybe it's just the photos because again, I'm sorry whoever took these, but all right, we're
All
gonna
right,
go
we'll
ahead.
move on. You move on. All
Here
right,
we go. Here we go.
there we go. Who asked? I'm trying to look at the chat. Okay, Jerry. There we go. So yes, this is the Lord of the Rings collection. I'm a huge Tolkien fan, so obviously I have to include this one.
You
This one
don't.
came out. Also very early 2000s, right around the time of the third movie, I think was when they were being produced. Sharon Zuckerman was connected to at least one of the dolls, so I'm assuming she designed all of them. Generally, that tends to happen with a
Mhm.
collection. Um, I will say I do own the Lord of the Rings collection, so I am like, so these are ones I can say whether or not I think they're good.
In box.
In box, yes.
Pick which one you want to open tonight, and then we'll go
Oh
ahead
no,
and we'll.
none of them.
Wait a minute, you're a
Um,
Lord of the Rings fan? I would have never guessed.
I know it's surprising.
um, so 03, 04. Damn, so they released these right around the same. Yeah, because the movies
Yeah, I
came out
think
like back to back years.
Yeah, I think it's around at least one of the ones came out right when Return of the King happened. So I don't know if they were being produced before all of the movies were out. I mean, they were definitely inspired by the movie interpretation, but kind of
Wait,
around that.
at some point, we should do one on that because I told you last year, like I watched for the first time all the Lord of the
Oh, the
Rings
rings.
movies. I saw the director's cut. It took me like 2 weeks to finish it.
Uh, we
I
should do like a
don't.
deep dive of Lord of the Rings history since you're not familiar with like all
We
the stuff
should.
that came before the Third Age. I
I
can get your impression on it.
I hated Pippin too. He's so annoying. All right, so we're gonna go. Hopefully, he's not in this set, but let's go ahead and take a look.
All right, the first one. Yeah, there we go, Jerry.
There we go.
So yes, we have the Galadriel doll. So
I
yeah,
butchered that
you're
name earlier. I tried to pronounce
Galadriel.
it.
I know. Sometimes you just gotta guess.
Her name's Galadriel.
So what's your impressions on her?
It looks awesome. Um, I could tell they're using a much unless that's the lighting. It's using a much paler complexion from
I can
previous
say
Barbie dolls.
yes.
It's lighting, or it's actually
No, I can say she is very pale.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, cool. So that's cool. I like that. The hair again looks. I feel like when it comes to this, what is the prosthetic hair? What you call
Yeah, the nylon hair or what
nylon
yeah,
hair? They
synthetic
always,
hair.
yeah, they always nail it. Prosthetic. I'm an idiot. When it comes to the hair, they always nail it with the hair sculpt and the way it's done. The seam on the dress is nice too. It has all those
Yes.
small patterns in it. It's something you would see like on a tablecloth, but in like one, I don't know what scale this would be, 1/9 scale, 1/8 scale.
Yeah, I think there's 1/12. I think that's
No
Barbie.
way, these aren't 1/12.
Not 1/12. Because hold on. You know what? This is why we have Google. What scale is Barbie?
Hey Google, what's the scale?
Oh, 1/6. Yeah, you're right. I was thinking my
Wait,
hot
these are
toys.
1/6.
Yes.
If you put this next to a hot toy, though, it doesn't look the same size. I feel like, does it?
No, no. Hot toys are definitely bigger. 1/6 is like if you hold on, I'm looking. I have Barbies literally right next to me. I would say if you
Well, we
yeah,
know
about yeah, you
we
can
won't know for sure unless you take it out of the box. So we have to figure out for
no,
science to see.
no, no.
But no, this looks awesome.
Yeah, so if you click to the next slide, that's gonna help with the
I hope
conversation for
there's
this
no
one.
like desk photos. Let's see. Oh, thank God.
No.
All right. Get out
Yeah.
of there.
So my comment with these, and I kind of wanted to compare them a little bit to some of the movie appearances. Because what I really liked, at least for their Lord of the Rings line, is that I mean, I don't know if it's because of budget or licensing. I was glad that they didn't try to make the sculpt like the complete likeness of the character. Like you can look at this like this isn't this to me at least doesn't look like Kate Blanchett exactly in the face. This still very much
No,
yeah, this
still
still very
signature
much
Barbie
looks
look.
like Barbie. And I appreciate that because I think that's a good middle ground. Like obviously we can see that the costume is very much inspired by the movie. Um
Hmm.
but like for people who might just enjoy the book, I think this would still be a good like Galadriel interpretation that's not too tied to Kate Blanchett. For those who maybe just kind of don't exactly want a Kate Blanchett Galadriel on their shelf, if you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that they didn't try too hard with like making the likeness exactly in the face.
Yeah, I always thought that was like keeping it on brand too. You know what I mean? Like if you have too much of a likeness, then is it still keeping the aesthetics of
Yeah,
Barbie? Yeah.
exactly, and it's just good for people because I think, like, The Lord of the Rings is as successful as a book as it is as a movie series, so, like, fans of the book would still be able to get this doll, whereas fans of the movie would still have a reason to buy the doll as well. It's like a good middle ground, so I appreciated that.
Oh, true. I can imagine someone like butchering this doll, like just taking off the head sculpt and
Oh,
putting like
I
a
know.
custom Cape
Yes,
Blanchett on
and
it.
I think how it works, because mostly it does the circlet would be, like, sewn into, like, the side of, like, the hair
Oh, okay.
to kinda keep it on.
So just take scissors then.
Yeah, you could just cut it. You could just cut her nice long hair.
Yeah. This looks nice. Is there another photo after this?
No. So real quick, how much do you think the Galadriel Barbie goes for?
All right, if you're keeping yours in box, there's a reason for that.
It's also I just like boxes, so
You're throwing me off. All right, let's see. I'm gonna say 220.
220. She actually goes for around $100,
Damn, I'm way off.
which does kind of surprise me. I did end up getting her, and Jerry guessed 140. I would have put her later in the hundreds as well because the reason I bought my Galadriel, she's not like my particularly favorite character. I just like elf Barbies, but also like after Rings of Power came out, I was really worried that like the Lord of the Rings merchandise would skyrocket in price like it
Did
tends to
it?
do. But no, she was around 100 before Rings of Power, and she's still around 100 after Rings of Power. So my quick scramble to get her before she skyrocketed was pointless. But I'm glad I have her.
Go, go, go. Did she have the ears too or no?
Yeah, she does. She does have
Does she?
pointed ears. We will
Okay,
see it
cool.
a little bit better in the next doll. You can't really tell because of her long hair, but she does have pointed ears.
I was way off. I said 220. All right, so we're gonna go and move to the next one.
Yes.
There
All
we
right.
go.
We got our first Ken on the list. We got Legolas. Again, I could not find a good quality promo image. That's why it's kind of small.
No, this is fine. I thought this was a Mezco or something.
Yeah, well, first impressions, and then I'll get into it.
I mean, was this the promo shot or was this somebody else's photo?
I don't know. I can't say 100% for sure, but I was assuming it would be the promotional shot, but it could have just been someone having fun.
First impressions, it's see, I look at everything now, it's terrible because I look at everything now through like a Mezco lens, like or like soft goods lens from like third party companies. And for this time, if this is early 2000s, this is still pretty good. I like how his quiver in the back is even also patterned, just like it would be in the movie. And I will say this too about the previous one; it was very movie accurate in terms of her dress.
Yes.
Aesthetics, yeah.
So we can go. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
In terms of the face, is it more in the next one?
Yeah, I was gonna say the next one's a little better too,
Okay,
and you can
so
see like the ears too, so they got
there
pointed.
it is. Okay. Oh, and you can see the braiding above the. Okay, cool. That is good. Um, he still keeps that Ken aesthetics, but he just kind of looks like Fred Armiston a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Ken. I mean, I think it's just an aesthetic thing. Guys, at least for dolls, have a hard time translating. It's kind of like early action figures where they just couldn't get women right. I'll just say like Barbies equally just can't get men right. So like Ken always looks a little funny, to me at least. But again, I like that they still try to pay homage to like Orlando Bloom. I can still kind of see it in the face, at least with the darker eyebrows compared to like the blonder hair. But again, they didn't like obviously exactly get his likeness down. Like I
Right.
wouldn't look at that and say, oh yeah, that's definitely Orlando Bloom. Um, so again, I appreciate them kind of taking a middle ground to it. But I do like you said, they have like a lot of that detailing, kind of like they tried to make kind of like the elven patterns on the outfit. It was very green, very foresty kind of feel, which fits, Legolas's character being from Mirkwood, forest elves. So I like, they tried paying homage to that.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, but I mean,
and
like
they gave him a bow. I'm glad they weaponized him. They weren't afraid to give him his bow.
I was about to say because his and the arrows come out separately, right?
Yes,
Oh,
yeah.
that's cool. But I guess there's no way of him actually holding it because his hands are
I
like
because
this.
because
Go ahead and crack it open. Let's see if we can try to make it work on yours. Just he's gonna hold it like this.
the actual horror of being a Barbie and not having any movability.
Could you imagine? It's like one of those like early CD-ROM games or PlayStation games with like the hands just
Yeah,
like
they'll
this.
think
It's
of
not even like.
mechanically.
It looks. I mean, I thought they wouldn't go much for the likeness, but it's
I
okay.
would, yeah, I would say he does a little bit better looking like his actor than the Barbie one. Barbie was like definitely just Barbie cosplaying as Galadriel. This one, they try to make Ken look different.
It's good that they represented for the thick eyebrow guys, so that's cool. All right.
So how much would you guess Legolas goes for?
Well, I was way off on the last one, so I'm going to say 150.
150? He's actually only sitting at around 75.
Holy crap, he's cheap.
I know. Poor Ken.
Let's just like order one on eBay right now and just mess with it, see if we can actually shoot
Yeah.
there.
I really do want like extras of the Lord of the Rings one, especially so I can take them out of the box and play with them. I just refuse to do it for the ones I have.
Yeah, so that show did nothing for the
I
value,
know.
like shooting them up, huh?
Well, I think Jerry just made a comment. I don't know if you want to read it or what.
Oh yeah, go. You can, oh, sorry. You can
Oh
go ahead.
yeah, no, because Jerry said they made the Galadriel ring in Rings of Power too human relatable. I didn't like it, so I actually haven't watched Rings of Power. I heard at least like I'm really big in the Tolkien community, at least on Tumblr. Wow, I still use that. And a lot of people weren't really happy with the show. I refused to watch it because it it takes place actually in one of my favorite books in the series, which is supposed to be the Unfinished Tales, but like they just made it fan fiction, so they like ruined
Uh,
it. So I don't want to taint like my knowledge of that book with the show. So I think that's the reason at least the Barbies themselves also haven't skyrocketed prices because not a, it was kind of a failure in terms of like what Amazon was wanting it to do,
okay.
and
So,
it was a lot of problems with like writing and stuff. So
and I remember we talked about it before it aired. Like, there's like certain properties they couldn't
yeah,
attribute inside, like
well
they couldn't use in the show,
they
right? So,
they didn't have rights to the Unfinished Tales, which is what they were trying to make. So in the Lord of the Rings there is an appendix section that kind of goes into some of the history of the Unfinished Tales, so that was like their excuse was that they had like the appendix references. But then they just made it fan fiction and got a lot of things wrong. So
oh no.
so I'm not going to watch it. I'm like, "Oh, no, I'm good." All
Well,
right,
tune in for our next live stream. We're gonna have
we're
Angelina
going to watch
watch.
Rings of Power.
Jerry guessed $100, so you were closer.
Closer.
I was way off one set, so it's only 70
Only
$75.
$75.
Wow.
All right.
Oh,
So
here we go.
yeah, so this is the last of this collection. So this is a 2-pack. So this would be Arwen and Aragorn. It did come out along with the third movie, which was The Return of the King. So immediate impressions on this one.
First thing is the chainmail that he's wearing outside or inside of his armor. That's pretty cool, but I'm guessing that's just regular cloth, right?
Yes, I think it's just I think it's a little textured, but I think it's mostly patterned.
Oh,
I
alright.
know.
I will say the the face of Arwen looks like one of those, like, 50s commercials Barbie dolls we just saw.
Oh, I could see it. Yeah.
But I do like the crown and detail in his armor. Her dress is but I guess it's like that, it's a little simplistic to me, but
Yeah.
I can't get past the face. The face looks like it's from the 50s.
Well, if we do want to go, I think I have maybe the next slide maybe a little bit closer, or at least comparison wise.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Shout out to whoever took the picture on the left. Used source lights. Sorry, that's not nice.
so this was the first one I got of the set. So of the collection, this was the first one I prioritized because I like Arwen and Aragorn. I like their story. Um, I got them for Christmas, so nice little gift there. I will say, I think like I said, Ken's hard to do, but especially fantasy Ken. But I think if I had to choose like a fantasy Ken that they kind of did right, I think the Aragorn doesn't look terrible.
No, this
Uh,
looks good
yeah,
compared
Legolas
to
kinda gives me, like, a little bit of an uncanny valley, but I think,
yeah.
like, this one's fine. This one I would be okay showing people. This
Yeah.
one would be, like, alright, on display. Um, I mean, I do remember that it's early 2000s, so I'm not gonna give them too much heat. I do think, like, the breastplate kinda looks like a cheap Halloween
Aw.
costume breastplate, but I like that they matched the images. Like, looking at it from the movie and looking at it from the doll, I think they did a really good job of trying to translate it, so I'll give them credit. I personally love Arwen's face. I think she looks at least a little is I think she at least looks a little less like Barbie cosplaying as Arwen and actually looks like a unique doll. So I
Really?
think I do, yeah, maybe it's just
That
like
one doesn't scream
no, it
70s.
doesn't. I
I'm
think
gonna have to play that commercial
she's
for you again.
she's really pretty in person, okay? And her dress is very nice. It has like a very velvet texture to it. So
It kinda looks suede or silk, but yeah, that's cool. The
yeah, it's
texture
like
in
a
it.
kind of like fuzzy. So
Okay, now I can see it, yeah, in this other photo.
yeah.
Um, the head sculpt's fine,
Oh, thank
kind
you.
of.
It's like one of my favorites.
I know that was trash.
You're just you're hating on Arwen. Wow.
But now I can't unsee the Halloween spirit armor of
See,
Aragorn. Damn it!
but I
It
still,
should have
they
been a little
gave
bit bigger. It should have been a little
yeah.
bit bigger.
But hey, they gave him a sword. We love to see it. We love to see Ken's being weaponized.
Yeah. Is there another photo of this, or is
Oh
this
no,
what?
that's it. So
I I
yeah.
will say it's hard to do beards on that type of plastic,
Yeah.
and I think they actually did a pretty good job. The paint work on the beard is actually pretty good.
Yeah, I would
And
agree because
And
sometimes it
getting the
does look.
skin tone too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I appreciate that they made him darker in coloration because I mean, Aragorn does look a little bit more of that in the film, so I'm glad for like a little bit of diversity.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, go
Jerry
ahead.
says the Aragorn will pass like a Hot Toys then. I used to buy Hot Toys when they were pretty affordable. The Aragorn.
Yeah, well, they're not like to the scale of Hot Toys at all, but I mean, if you're looking, I mean, I would think he would still be fine in like a display. I think this set especially would just be a good like integral piece. If you're also looking for any like good quality Lord of the Rings, like I think Diamond Select just put out a line recently that Aragorn looks really good from the set, but this is like one of the few like coronation ones, other than like maybe I don't know. I think the old Toy Biz one might have put one out, but
Oh yeah, that's right. They did have one.
because they have one of Arwen in her, I think her coronation dress.
Oh, okay. Is there one more after this, or that's it?
No, so that's it. So how much do you think this 2-pack goes for on the second market?
So I'm going to say I've been way off anyways in the Lord of the Rings set. Let's go with 130.
130. So this one goes for around 225.
God, how is it? I guess because it's
Hey,
two.
you did really good with the first set. All right, it's all right.
All right.
Jerry guessed 160. So
Yeah.
this one is actually the most expensive.
Okay.
All right.
Impressions of this. I mean,
Oh yeah.
it's pretty good. I mean, for its time for that set, I would say my favorite one's Arwen. I think that's my favorite one.
Are you being honest here?
Being nice.
Being nice to me. Okay. Well, who's really your favorite out of this line?
I don't think it. If it wasn't for that pose, and that photo would have been him. But I would say Aragorn.
Aragorn.
And
I would agree.
And Arwen.
And Arwen, they. Oh yeah, you're kind of stuck with her too if you get it.
Yeah.
But no, I agree. I think the 2-pack's really strong. I like all of them, but I'm also like heavily influenced by my love of Lord of the Rings, obviously. But I think it was a solid collection, at least for like the time it came out.
Yeah.
And I was glad, that Barbie even did it. I'm glad Barbie wasn't like, ew, fantasy. Boys only like that.
Yeah, I'm glad they actually made this especially because girls were interested in this too,
Yeah.
But unlike the previous set, I don't think there were really any weak ones in this line.
Yeah, I think they all accomplished what they were trying to accomplish, especially in the time it came out.
Yeah. All right, so that concludes the Lord of the Rings, and we're gonna move to Legends of Ireland.
So
they got
again,
4 years.
yeah, so collections traditionally with Barbie, they'll put out one doll kind of like for a set number of years. So I think this one ran for 4 years, and like one doll came out each year. So Legends of Ireland, it's kind of self-explanatory. They just took some like Irish myths and kind of made Barbie dolls for them, which I really like that. But I have a lot of Celtic ancestry, so like that's where my connection comes in, and I just think that's a cool idea. I was like, wow, they actually took like a country's mythology and was like, all right, what can we do with it? I mean, some of them get a little stereotypical, but again,
Is it on this list right now?
I'll kind of point out which one I think is a little like okay, but that was kind of the early 2000s for you. They were like, "Oh, you're Irish, like green leprechauns." So
Yeah, if we look back at some stuff in the early 2000s, like in retrospect, it's pretty bad.
All right, but we can
but
go
hopefully
with the
not this though.
I think they did okay. So yeah, this is the first one of our collection. I do have a few of these. This is a set I would really like to complete, and I do have the Bard. But yes,
I remember because we talked about her.
Her little harp. Yeah.
Yeah, her harp. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Oh no, you're good. So she's not so much a character from like an Irish myth in particular. She's just the idea of a bard, which I think is kind of fun. But I also like D&D and stuff, so I'm like, bards. But so she's just supposed to be like a storyteller, a little songstress. So what's your opinion?
The harp's awesome. First of all.
Yes.
And I'm not sure her hair is two-tone. There's like a red and then kind of like a light blondish on the top, which is kind of cool. I do like the way the dress is kind of like, I don't know if that the Celtic cross is like holding it together.
Not really. It's like kind of sewn, and that's kind of just like over it. But it's to give that impression, definitely, at least.
Yeah, but overall, I like this one.
Yeah, so we can go to
we were talking about the harp last time. I remember this one.
So we have like this one was also really hard to find. That poor one on the right there, little rough shape. But
wait a minute. Is it you didn't take this out of the box?
Oh, I do have mine out of the box, so I did actually take
one
that.
of your photos instead of this poor person who's got lucky the 4-leaf clover tablecloth.
Anyway, so
Unless that's yours. I'm just
no, it's not. So I really like this one, mostly just because, like I said, I like that they just chose the idea of a bard. The only thing that confuses me is the two tone of her hair, because it's certainly like a choice. I don't understand it. I'm like, is she supposed to be like graying? Like, is she supposed to be like an older woman, or is this just like an artistic change? I don't understand it, but it makes her a little bit more unique, I guess.
yeah.
But I love her dress. I think this one did great. I really like the colors. I think the kind of like the type of greens they chose and like the soft purple makes it all really nice. I think she has a really unique face sculpt. Definitely like the green eyeshadow kind of gives her a unique face. But I really like this doll. So
Yeah, I was gonna say the green eyeshadow is very noticeable. I guess not in that other picture on the right, but the one on the left. Sorry,
kind of.
whoever's photo that is. I'm sorry. But yeah. So are you familiar? Like, how do they apply the paint on the face? Because a lot of them
I'm
are on point. Because I can't
Yeah.
imagine.
I
If it,
don't really know because it's not. I mean, they do face printing now, but obviously that's a very recent thing. So I couldn't tell you exactly how they apply them. Um, how
because
the
that,
manufacturing does it.
and I imagine it's not easier, but it's somewhat easier to do it in a larger head sculpt. So I'm wondering why that's why all the makeup's on point in terms of like the way it's applied on there. But
Yeah.
looks good.
So how
I, I
much do you, oh
I like the edgy, the different strand, the different.
yeah, I like it
Oh.
too. It just confuses me. I just wish someone out there would tell me why did it happen that way.
Well, it's, I hate to make fun of it. Well, the one on the right's been through some things, I guess.
She's a little. You know what? Mine looked a little that way when I took mine out of the box too. So you know what? Just being in box for like 20 years will do that to you.
All right.
All right, how much do you think she goes for the secondary?
This is the Legends of Ireland. I'm going to try and make up my own reasoning for
Yes.
this. So I'm imagining it was a small run, so probably $200.
Yeah, she goes for around 250.
Oh, okay. Getting closer again. All right, cool.
Yes. So yes, I didn't
Just
get her for 250. I got her for fortunately a little cheaper than that. You can find her, she fluctuates a little, but yeah, around 250.
go ahead, Anji. Tell the fine folks where the plug's at. Where'd you get it for 50
Got
bucks?
a
I'm kidding. I'm
Macari,
kidding.
Macari. You can sometimes find them come up.
I'm kidding. Can the harp actually work?
I don't know, but it does have like strings on it. It's not plastic, so I
Yeah, I
like
see
that
this.
at least. Yeah.
And at least with the hand sculpts, you can pretend like she's actually playing.
Yeah, at least she's like I'm glad that they didn't just give her generic posture. They did
Yeah.
try to make it look like she would be holding a harp, so I do like that.
Okay. So 250, you said?
250.
Reasonable. Okay. All right. So we're going to move on to the next one.
Yes.
Whoa.
All right. This is
Why
the
is there
fairy.
two?
Yeah, so this is the fairy queen, another one on my list. She actually had a variant, which is the dark-haired one, which
Mhm.
was less in numbers. I don't know if she was like a store exclusive, like Toys R Us exclusive, but if you have the black one, like the black-haired one, much more pricey. She's extremely rare, so like
I can't wait to guess that one. All right.
I don't know if I'll be even able to find a price on that one, but the red hair is the most common one. That's how she was, manufactured. But there was a variant. That's why there's two images here. So yeah, immediate impressions on the fairy queen.
Definitely has the tire has the attributes of a fairy. I mean, look the in terms of the green and the aesthetics of like the see through. You know what I mean? The wings and stuff like
Yes.
that. There's a lot of glitter on this. Do you have this one or no?
No, she's on my list. I really want her because she's such a unique looking doll, but I don't have her yet.
First impressions. It reminds me of like I don't know if this makes sense or not, like an early to late like 50s or 60s movie, like
Yeah, kind of
in
like
terms of the
the
aesthetics of
kind of
the
like
face.
the all the 1980s dark fantasy memes that are kind of happening lately.
Yeah,
I could kind of yeah, I could see it.
yeah. Um, I gotta imagine how is she holding that.
The scepter, probably with like help of some like rubber bands. That's usually how they do it.
But it looks nice. I wonder if their wings can retract out, or if it's no, it's not
No,
attached.
I think they're stationary.
Okay.
If you want to go to the next slide, I probably have a closer. Yeah, there we go.
Oh.
See, look, yeah.
So that same person has all these dolls. That's kind of cool,
They
actually.
helped me. They were really useful.
Wait, hold on.
So
What's the promo shot look like? How? Oh, I guess the hair over time, like instead of it being parted, just curls back up.
yeah,
Damn.
But yeah, so I really like this one. I think like it fits kind of like that fairy fantasy ethereal look that they were trying to go for. I think the glitter accomplishes that. Kind of just kind of like this kind of a more abnormal style dress, with like the sleeves and like the big poofy collar and the sleeves. I really love like the two little dots they even do under her makeup. Kind of makes
I
it a little bit more interesting to look at aesthetically.
I was gonna say, was that my? I thought that was my computer. So I was like, why are there dots in her eyes? But
No,
no,
it's part of her makeup. Yeah. And, even, like, her, like, twisting crown. She gives me very, like, Midsummer Night Dream by Shakespeare kind of aesthetics, you know?
yeah,
Um, I really like her. I just think she's super, like, interesting. She's definitely, like, a different than, like, most normal Barbies you would see.
right. No, but did you have a picture of the variant?
No, unfortunately, I didn't.
Oh,
'Cause
so
yeah, it would look like this, but just with black hair.
I can't imagine what it would look. like. Yeah.
So, how
Oh, sorry.
much do you think she would go for? I
Okay,
was trying to
so
see if I could find a variant price, but I don't, so I don't have that one, but
damn. Okay, so the last one was 250. This one I'm gonna say is 220.
this one is actually only around 90,
What the hell?
60 to 90. So
How am I so often? Why is this one worth less?
I don't know. I don't know if people just aren't interested or she was produced like in more quantities or what. But no, I mean
She's a
she's still expensive for a Barbie or for what she is, but given the age and compared to the Bard,
no,
definitely
yeah.
more affordable of the line.
That's what's yeah. Um, hey, what's up, Shadow Moses? Says I. What's up, man? Yeah, because compared to sorry, I'm gonna go back to
Yeah, go ahead.
the Bard. Really? So how would she?
I know
I thought
she
this would
looks
be
like
worth
she's
more.
yeah, 'cause she has like the wings. She has I think a little bit more of a
Hmm.
complex dress. She has like a little bit more elements to her, but she's
Yeah,
relatively cheap.
I can imagine that glitter would be like a hassle though, because that thing looks like it like sheds everywhere. It's gone from this dress.
I know, maybe just over time.
Yeah. Oh, I just noticed that because you were talking about that earlier. The sleeves are actually kind of cool too.
Yes, because they have, like, the kinda like the pattern and they're a little bit see-through. They have glitter too.
Yeah. Wow. So nine. You said 95.
Yeah, around 60 to 90 tends to be her range
Damn.
nowadays.
Okay.
Alright.
I was way off on this one too. The spellbound
Okay.
lover.
Iseult. This is I mean, I don't know the story too much. I know it's based off of a 12th century tale of kinda like 2 ill-fated lovers. So she is kind of at least based off of a real myth, that's relatively popular in Ireland. Basically, I think someone, like, enchants this cup. That's why she's holding one, and when she drinks of it, she, like, falls into, like, a doomed love. I think that's kind of the story that's around this doll. But yeah, so what's your impression of her?
I'm trying to think of what the word is to describe her, the patterns on her dress,
Mhm.
but it's very reminiscent of that. I'm trying. Sorry, it's
It's
like
kinda like a
evading me right now.
it's almost like a Celtic cross. Not
Yeah,
exactly, but kind of that is it Catholic or Orthodox or
I would say
whatever.
Catholic because that pat. Yeah, because the pattern on there it reminds me of like something you'd see like in a Catholic. Yeah, kind of like that.
Yeah.
Um, the crown looks dope. The cup that she's holding, she's holding on like
A
this.
little yeah.
Yeah, they even painted her nails too on this one. I like the nice touch with the buttons on the sleeves. That's actually kind of cool.
And I think
Uh,
her kind of cape is velvet too. So it has
oh,
that, like, fuzzy texture to it.
okay, that's gonna factor in my guessing for the price later then. So now,
And you can click the next one. We have probably a little bit better up close views. Yes. So
wow, it's floating in the air. The cup. No,
I really like her. I think the quality of the dress really shows. I think this looks pretty nice quality for a Barbie. I wouldn't say she has like the most unique face sculpt. Like I think her face is a little plain, at least compared to like the fairy that got a little bit more like creative with it. But I
okay.
think it works. I love her hair. I especially love the ribbon that is like braided through her hair.
Yeah,
Um, which I believe is a play. I mean, I know in like Celtic marriages they like bind hands with like ribbon to like symbolize like the connection of marriage. So I think like in an Irish lore there might be something about like the red string of fate. I know that's like a Japanese thing too. So I can't 100% say if that's what that's supposed to represent with the red thread. Um, but
really,
I
I didn't
really
know that.
yeah. So because her she's kind of fated to this doomed love. So I think that's what that's supposed to like pay homage to. But I like her because she's like based off of a real mythological figure. I think that kind of adds a little bit of uniqueness to the character as well. But yeah, I think she's fine. I think she's a very unique. She would obviously stand out in a collection.
Yeah, especially the whatever texture they use for the dress, it does pop more, even in like these plain, like not. I'm sorry, not plain shots, but like even these like regular shots,
Yeah,
they
like
still
the very
stick out. Just
neutral.
like they still stick out.
Pletho asked, "Is that a wine? Is that wine in the goblet? Do they have
Yeah.
different age ratings?" So it probably is supposed to be representative of wine. This is based off of a character from a myth who's obviously probably around an adult woman. I don't know. There's probably different drinking ages in 12th century Ireland, I'm sure. But she is supposed to kind of be an older woman, not like teenage Barbie that we kind of know now.
It stole the. Got turned with some wine. Thank not a good question, but what's up, Cap Lives? He says, "Hello, everyone. Let's talk some dolls. Let's talk some dolls, man. We've
Like
been
talk.
talking."
And if you don't mind, hold on. I'm gonna turn on my light because the sun is quickly fading.
Yeah, no, I noticed that. All right.
All right, there we go.
Okay, so is there another shot after this, or that's it?
No, that's it. So, how much would you guess for the spellbound lover? I think is what
So
she's
you said
called.
it's kind of like a suede cape or things she got on the back.
Yes, it has texture to it.
Let's guess 250.
250. Let me put it into eBay and let's see what she runs. She is around 150.
God damn it.
So
Sorry.
far, the Bard, surprisingly,
Is the
is
most
holding
expensive one.
is holding her own.
All right, so the last one was only was it one something?
It
No.
was like 250 to 60 to 150. So kind
Okay.
of all over the place with these.
Yeah. All right.
All
So
right.
is there more in this collection, right?
Yes,
There's okay,
I
cool.
believe there's one more. No, there's two more. Okay,
Cool.
Anya. Anya is she's known as the Fairy Queen of Munster. She is an Irish goddess. It's pretty much the extent. I mean, there's obviously a lot more to her, but that's the basics. What's your impression?
They added the mole on her face. I just noticed that because I know that's not my computer because I see it on both
Yes, so she has the
screens.
beauty mark.
Yeah. Um, much like the other one, it's a darker green, like a forest green tone, but I could the patterns definitely stick out to me on her dress. It has the little things that accentuate like the puffy sleeves, which is pretty
Yes.
cool. It looks like she's giving a side eye though. It's
Yeah, it kind
different
of
from the
that.
other ones, yeah, than from the other dolls that we saw.
I mean, if you want to go to the next slide, there's the
Oh
kind
no.
of a little bit more. There's the up close images. There we go.
Okay.
So, I do have her. This is and I think she is probably one of my favorite Barbies I've ever seen. I think she has a really pretty. I think she has a really pretty doll. This is the Bob Mackie face sculpt. This is one of the few face sculpts I do know. Very popular face sculpt. Usually reserved for collection type Barbies. I like that they gave her kind of a more sensual look. I would say she's definitely, especially with that like cat eye side eye look. They kind of like play that up, which
Yeah.
I think is fitting. She's she's I think she's associated with love and stuff in her like her goddess repertoire. I'm frankly surprised. I won't go into it, but like she has a really dark story, so I'm surprised that like Barbie looked at it. It was like, you know what, we should make her a doll. It's really dark, so I was like, all right, that's a choice, Barbie. So
when you
don't go researching her, but
when
um
is it appropriate to say on air? What's the dark
um
backs?
Well, it is a crime that often happens to women. I will just leave it at that. So that's
Oh,
like the
got it.
basis
Okay.
of her lore. So I'm surprised that Barbie was like, "Yeah, let's make this a doll."
Yeah.
But she's great. I mean, I love her outfit. Her dress is very elaborate. The only complaint I do have is because mine is out of box. Is that like the green of her dress over time will stain some of her skin? But I mean,
Okay.
I don't plan on taking her dress off, so you don't really see it unless you do. But she does stain kind of over time. But she has like a real metal thing around her waist and all that. So
Oh,
I
so
think
that thing is
she's
actual real chain? Oh, okay,
yes.
cool.
So that's neat. But yeah, I just think like she has such a pretty face. She's a good doll.
Yeah. We didn't talk about this though when it came You didn't have any images of the box art, did you? Because the presentation on this one was better than the one
No,
that came out during
yeah.
the doc.
I tried to get a little bit of it in the second image. She did have, like, a whole, like, backstory not really backstory, but, like, a little bit of a description on her the back of the box too, but it did have these, like, kind of cool patterns on it, so they did try to make it a little bit and since it's all clear plastic, it would be easier to display her inbox if you wanted to. But yeah, she did have a little bit of a nicer kind of presentation.
Yeah. It is nice. Sorry. Cap lives. He says she's definitely judging us.
Yes. She is giving us all the side eye.
Yeah. So McFarlane didn't do it first. Okay. Alright. Alright, so
So, how much would you say Anya goes for?
I've been way off during this whole set and even the Lord of the Rings. So I'm just gonna stay in the middle and say $100.
$100? She is 195.
Oh my god, alright.
Should have got, like, right in the middle. 150 would have been pretty
Nice little
good.
yeah. Alright, so the next one.
Yes.
Whoa. Okay.
So this is Deirdre of Ulster. Again, another she's based off of another myth story. Again, another kind of ill-fated love story. But yeah, so impressions of her.
The the skirt piece of her dress that sticks out immediately is well, I guess her hair too because it's red. Um, wow, that thing's like it's like poofed up, but the dress there's like a embossed like pattern that's on there, and it looks like almost suede type. I can't really tell what material it is, but I like that. And then the hair that and the two those two things stick out the most to me.
Yeah. If we want to go to the next slide's definitely at least a little bit better for yeah, so I love that they actually have, like,
Whoa.
embroidery
Mhm.
to her, like, her chest piece, and even at the kinda, like, the very end of her skirt. I think for outfit terms, I think outfits have been strong in this line for all of them, but I think, like, this one, they definitely really, like, put in some, like, quality to it, like, that's velvet. They did all the little embroidery. I do like her hair. I like her face. She has a little bit of, like, a longer face, and I think her eyes are a little bit further apart than, like, most Barbie typical face sculpt, so I do think she looks like a very unique doll as well, so I do like that, she doesn't just blend in with, like, the typical Barbie face.
I was gonna say that's probably one of the better head sculpts I've seen into like
Yes.
the other ones we've seen in this line. That's pretty good. Kind of like also kind of judging in a way, but
Yeah,
she's
she
also
does go she looks like that smile you give when you're really annoyed with someone and they keep
yeah,
talking and you're like, "Mhm."
kind of like you what you've been doing to me all night. I'm just but no, but this is good. But do you have this in your collection?
No, unfortunately, I do not. So, do you wanna guess how much she is?
Okay, if there you don't have her in the collection, there's a reason for that. So she's 250.
750.
Get out of here! This
There is a listing for even up to $1,500, so like
$700.
750, or there's one that bid at 511.
There has to be. This must have been like a limited run then.
It must have been, or just because of the nice fabric quality, or maybe there's just not a lot circulating out there. Of course, the argument is she might not be even as rare as she is, but because people just blow up the third party market. But yeah, she is. She is expensive.
Damn, bro, $700.
I know. Yeah, but she's such a cool looking doll. But
Yeah.
yeah. So I don't see myself. She's not even my favorite. Like I love the dress, but I wouldn't say like I need her in my collection. I don't feel like I would like die if I don't have her. But I do
Mm.
think she's a cool doll. So is there a
Would
favorite you have in this set?
honestly, probably gonna be this one now. That's $700.
The Deirdre one at $700.
Yeah. Uh,
I think mine's probably Anya, the one that we looked at right before her. I just think she's pretty. She's just there's something about her that I think is really cool. So she's probably my favorite of the line.
yeah. Uh, yeah, it's only about the dress I like in this one, but also that price man.
I know. Jerry said that's more expensive than Fisto. Fisto's now 450.
Who's Fisto?
I was like, do I not know who Fisto is?
I don't know who Fisto is. That another doll? But no, damn 7. What was the
And
highest it
then
was going?
Cap Live said, "My goodness, moral of tonight's live is don't backtrack and get into Barbies." Yeah. So she so far is our most expensive that we've looked at, 750.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so moving on. So I'm glad we have another Greek goddess one. Um,
Oh,
He-Man, Fisto Pac-Man.
oh,
Know him
Fisto
now?
from He-Man. Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen the
Nope.
Masterverse one from like Target only because it was clearance. My bad.
So we have another Greek goddess line that I think will be fun because we've had a first Greek goddess line, and this is about 10 years later. So I
Yeah.
think it's going to be kind of fun to compare it and just what's our impression on it compared to the first one. This one is by designer Linda around 2008 2010. So about a 10 year. We've kind of gone through 10 years of different collections by now. So we'll go ahead and start with the first one. And
Whoa.
I love how the first one isn't even a Greek goddess. Medusa, I'm sorry to say, isn't a goddess in Greek mythology, but she is in Greek mythology, so they got us there.
So right
Um,
off the bat, they're already incorrect.
they're
It's
already
like
a little incorrect, but all right. Medusa, what do you think?
those snakes, yo. This looks awesome. So, um, it's a lot different from what we're used to seeing because the slim dress. But I mean, that's like in the same vein of like a Medusa's style. The accessories look cool. I don't know if that's like a snakeskin texture
It
in the
is, yeah.
middle.
I'll say that it is supposed to be like snake scales.
Okay, cool. And I do like the the snakes in the necklace too.
Hmm.
So this one
So
kind of looks like Arwen. I'm not sorry. The face kind of looks like
I could see that because they have like a longer face.
yeah.
But yeah, I do like this one. I like the mermaid cut for her. I think that is very interesting. I understand why they did it. I'm a little disappointed they didn't commit to making her hair snakes. But I'm glad that they at least made it ringlets to like try to like pay homage to that. But I'm like, come on, you
You
can
would have
do it.
yeah.
If we would go to the next slide, we have a little bit of a kind of more up close look. So they do give her kind of like the slitted eyes like snakes. So I think that's cool too.
The
Also kind of plays
eyelash.
into they have rooted eyelashes on this one. Um so I think what's unique about this doll, at least this line, I think you could definitely see it. I think this one is more like what we were talking about with the first Greek goddess line, where they were trying to take like modern fashion and
Mhm.
incorporate it into kind of a fantasy retelling, because this definitely feels like a modern interpretation, kind of like our Western interpretation nowadays, versus the first line that I was think was trying to be more like traditional to like a classic Greek style, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
No, that makes sense. Because like, yeah, if we compare this to sorry, it's a bunch of slides back I can't go
We
to.
won't. Yeah, I
But
should have
if you
included
can
them for that, but
but if you compare this to like the first initial line, then yeah, you can see it's definitely the modern take on it. I
mhm.
will say this though, I'm sure there's nice ones after this. Is probably my favorite one.
Favorite. Okay.
That face sculpt is awesome.
Yes, and I did want to say, especially with this line, there's another line that also plays on it, and I mean it really complimentary. There's almost something about the makeup that almost seems like drag makeup to me because it's so like exaggerated, and I'm really glad that they kind of like they really had fun with the makeup in this line. Like, you can't really see it too well on this Barbie, but like even her lips are like
No, I
lined
could
a
see the
different, yeah,
shade.
like a
Yeah, I could
darker
shade.
color. So
Yeah.
they had fun, and this definitely feels like it's for a more mature Barbie, for more mature collectors.
Oh, for sure. It's aesthetics alone, like in first impressions, that's what I get from it. Uh,
So,
what's up,
oh,
Rob? Shout out to my friend. Rob. What's up, dude? He'll be on the DC Infinite
Jerry's.
Hour.
Oh,
She after this at 9. Sorry. Jerry says she looks like a mermaid. Yeah.
I can see it. Yeah, I am. I
Oh,
understood
because the
why they did a
fins.
mermaid cut because like a serpent's, because a serpent is kind of just like a long line. So I can see why they wanted to keep a really sharp silhouette. But I can see how people might not immediately think Medusa just because I'm like, "Oh, put snakes in her hair. Put snakes in her hair. It's not
They
that
got to
hard."
keep some aesthetics of Barbie, right? What
Exactly.
if they just like threw in like two sets of snakes in her hair?
I that would at least for me that would have made it better, but I'm glad they at least gave her snakes on her arms, I guess.
Yeah. I do
All
like the
right.
necklace though. It's a nice touch because I just realized
Yes.
the necklace, the thing wraps around from the.
Yeah, and her like
That's
earrings are snakes too. So they tried to shower her in serpents, I guess. But
yeah.
how much do
Having
you think she would
having
go for?
said that, she's gonna be my favorite one from the line. I think this was 2008, 2010.
Yes.
All right, what do you all think in the comments? I'm gonna say, do you have this?
No, I don't. I will say I'll give you this. She's like a grail for most Barbie collectors.
Oh, okay. That's a
She is a very iconic doll.
the last one was was $700. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna be 300 if it's a girl.
300.
Yeah.
She goes for around 799
Fuck. I should have said.
to around 1900. So she's also
Damn.
again in that Almost. Yep. Cap Lives 1500. That's a really good guess.
Kev Liv said 1500.
Hmm.
Someone said 250.
She's the
uh,
lowest price right now is $799.
holy crap!
Oh, this one for 750 actually, but
Oh, so I was right. 750.
but yeah. So she's yeah. All
um,
right.
uh, Broken Bad said, "Am I going to start getting into Barbie stuff too?" Hey, man, when they start making Batman stuff, we will. We're gonna get it. Okay. Damn, 7. Whew. Whoa. Okay, this one's cool.
Okay, so I thought this one
Never
was
mind
also fun to
then.
include because we had the earlier interpretation of Aphrodite. So again, I feel like this is a very Western, modern interpretation of Aphrodite. She's not nearly as Greek centric in her look. She's very much oh, I'm forgetting the name of the painting, but the famous Venus walking out of the seashell.
Yeah.
Very much homage to that. So yeah, before I get into my details, what is your first impression?
Um, the dress, the face too. That face is also looks like it's a little. I don't know if it's just the lighting or what. Like I saw last time, the skin complexion is lighter on this one. Um, what are they using for the thing around her arm that goes all the way through the dress? That thing's pretty interesting too.
I think it's like almost like a cinched fabric. It like almost is like ruffled.
Okay, yeah, I would say stitching work is on has been top notch for this one. Does that piece in the back come with it or no?
No, I think that's just part of the
Damn.
promotional imaging. Yeah. It may be a part. I don't even. I don't remember her box. It might have it like a shell in like the background, but no,
Yeah,
it's not like a display piece, unfortunately.
I like it. Looks I like this looks nice.
Mhm.
Especially for the goddess of love. Uh, Rob said, "Was it mint in box or open for that one that
Most
sold?"
Medusas are still in their box because of the doll, what she is to the community. I haven't really seen any listed outside of box, but I would say even outside of box, she's gonna easily be still like 500 plus,
He,
just
he
because of.
he's the type to order on eBay right now, Rob.
Oh,
Order it right now.
she's one that will probably keep her value and increase it. She's yeah.
Come on, man, just do it. But no, what are your initial thoughts on this?
Yeah, so if you go to the next slide, just because that gives us a little bit more of a good. Yeah, so I do really like her. She is one I would really want. I like it because Aphrodite, if you're not too familiar with her story, she is born of the sea. So I think her dress is supposed to be very representative of water, like the ocean and like coming out of the sea foam and all of that. She has like
Oh,
those kind of like shells slash pearls on her neck and earrings. That's also associated with like the beach and water, and even like kind of like the waving curls in her hair. So I
just saw
do
that. Yeah,
yeah. I do really like her because, I'm also really into art, so she almost looks like a very, like, good artistic homage to all of that. So, as in terms of, like I think the classical Greek line did the goddesses better in terms of, like, sticking to, like, the idea of Greek goddesses, but I like the creative interpretation here. They had fun with this line, and,
yeah,
like, it was just more of a play on, like, how dramatic can we go with the style.
but still paying homage to like the yeah.
Yes, but still try to like, if someone showed me this, I would be like, "Yeah, Aphrodite." It still keeps with, like, the idea of it.
What's the things that's like going throughout her dress? Is that like supposed to be crystals?
I think so, I think they're just, like there's, like, sparkly
Yeah,
pieces of plastic probably, but, I think it's supposed to be, probably, like, like, the sun shines on the water, it kinda, like, sparkles, so I think it's supposed to be, like, kind of all that idea.
hmm. Uh, Jerry says they're afraid she turned them to stone. That's why they keep her in the box.
They gotta blindfold her, they gotta.
Codebuster 500 says, "Love that dress. Doubles is like emerging off. Oh, it's cool. Yeah, emerging.
Yes.
And the curls are pretty, Rob. They are. I just realized because I don't know if I noticed that. Yeah, I didn't have time to notice the hair, but yeah, I can see the curls more there. She feels very 60s. Yeah,
Yeah, I could see that, yeah. Cause I think they did that style, cause that I think 50s was when they would, like, actually, like, take, like, soda cans or so or, like, do the really big curls,
yeah. Oh wait,
but
so is that like the stitch fabric? Is that thing gonna fall off easily? Because I'm
no,
looking at the second photo.
I think usually they have, like, a little bit of elastic band that keeps the dress on.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Usually Barbie does do something that kinda, like, keeps but, and especially if you do keep it in box, obviously, they got all the wire and stuff, so
true. It keeps it in place. Yeah. All
alright,
right.
how much do you think
I don't.
Aphrodite goes for?
I've been way off like these last like 8 things. I'm
You
just
were
gonna
really
let's.
solid on the first line,
I know.
so, don't undersell yourself.
Let's
But I
do.
will say here, I'll do you a favor, less than Medusa. She's not
She's
to
not
the range of
700. Okay.
she's not 700.
Ricardo says they look like waves. Neat detail. Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
say that. What do you guys think? Okay, if she's not as much as Medusa, let's say 300.
300?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ricardo says 500, 600. Uh,
Okay.
Rob says 450. Codebuster said 450.
She is around 450.
Damn it!
So
Good job, guys.
450,
We got it right. Jerry
495,
said
3.
350. Feels like
So
Price is Right.
so she is one I would love to get someday. Obviously, I'm not about to spend $450 on a Barbie, but she is at least my grail of this line because I mean I love Aphrodite and I mean look at that. That would look great on a shelf.
I was gonna say more than Medusa, but then again, she's not really a goddess. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, at least Aphrodite's a goddess. All right, next
Okay.
one.
Oh, never mind. This might be sorry.
Athena. So again, we have another returner. This was also in our classical line. So this is Athena. Yeah. So your thoughts?
This definitely is modernized compared to what we saw in the first wave. it's I, it reminds me of like when they did that Pepsi commercial with like Britney Spears.
Oh, I could see it.
But definitely modern take. I do like the. I'm sure that's not die cast or anything like that. So it's like
Plastic, I think.
gold
Yeah.
plated. Yeah, that looks cool. I do like the arm gauntlet to protect her, which looks cool. They made the thing actual like long hair on her helmet instead of it being like the short mohawk hair type of thing.
Yes.
Um, yeah, this. I mean, it screams Athena in some ways, but also very modern take. I'm not gonna. What's the thing on the shield? Like, what's that engraved?
Oh
Like,
yeah, that's there is a name for the is it Aegeus, her shield's name? But that is actually Medusa because in Greek mythology she has the head of Medusa on her shield to strike fear into enemies. If you don't know, Athena is the one that turned Medusa into Medusa. So she's the one that curses her. Um but yeah, so I love that on the you can actually see that is Medusa the Barbie on her shield. That is a fun little
is that the
connection.
same? That's
Yeah,
It is the same
that is.
Medusa bar. So if you buy this, you technically have both. But
So yeah, if we want to go to the next slide because that has a little bit closer. So I mean, I think the makeup is really. I mean, I think she's very interesting. I don't know if
yeah,
she's not really my favorite, but I definitely can see like the artistic take on her. Like they definitely got creative.
it's
Um,
it's kind of like goth meets
I know she
Greek
looks a little hot.
mythology.
She looks like a hot topic
I was
Athena.
going to say it's like
I'm not
going
feeling the
as
bangs. For me, it's just the bangs. But I do like that they had fun with her hair being kind of like that plumage you usually see on Roman and Greek helmets. I mean, you still have the owl in
I
her
was to say,
collar.
yeah, it's embedded in her armor. Yeah,
And as I was saying, most Athenas tend to be depicted more warlike. So that's why I like that first Athena so much because she was kind of more feminine. And this one is definitely more of like, oh yeah, Athena is a goddess of war as well as wisdom. So I do, if you have both, you would get both dualities.
and off she goes with her bangs and
Yeah, I
uh,
mean,
but no, Rob said love the makeup. The makeup is very
makeup is
detailed because
cool.
there's a bunch of
Yes.
different tones used throughout her eyes, which is good. Even the lips that we saw in that one had two different shadings on the outline.
Yes.
I do like the owl implemented in the armor. Though. That's actually kind of
Yeah.
cool.
I think Cody said owls with the ruby eyes is the best detail for them.
Yeah,
And then
those
Rob
that's
agrees with me. Bangs are a little bit of a miss, but I
said
think for
hot
me, she
topic
does
girl.
it. I think for me, my what makes me stop from really liking her is that she feels almost too much like Ares, which is the other god of war. Because he's often really depicted with that red. She almost looks, I don't know. I mean, Athena definitely could be a very fierce goddess, but she looks almost too bloodthirsty in this one. Athena tended to be the more reserved, in the war aspect, but I think it's a very cool, it's an interesting doll. It would certainly stand out.
This is terrible. I'm being educated because like I remember like Greek mythology. I learned a little bit when I was younger, but I also learned from the Hercules TV series, like the
Oh,
animated
the
series.
one that
And
got
there
it all
was
wrong.
no, it was right.
Yeah,
Disney
with
wouldn't lie
with
to me.
with Hera being the loving mother.
Yeah, that's right. But I remember the feud. They did an episode with Athena versus God, who was the other one you just named? It was Athena and
Ares.
Ares. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, she had a lot of beef with Poseidon that typically was her like rival in Greek mythology. But yeah, do you
Jerry
want to?
said hot topic Athena.
All right, do we want to guess how much she is? I will
Okay.
say in.
God.
Nah, I won't give you any hints.
Oh, all right. What do you guys think? All right. So Last one was 450. That was let's say 350.
All right, you're going with 350.
What are you guys saying? Let's see.
Give Chad a minute before I
Uh
pull up the answer. Hera was never
Never
jealous. Never.
jealous.
No, she was. She was. No, Hera was like the most patient
Yeah.
goddess in all of history.
All right. I'm seeing here. So Obuster says 230. Rob says 299.
Jerry said 499.
Yeah, 499.
So she is another one that goes for around 750 to 1400.
She's 700.
To 1400.
Holy crap!
So
Was the other Athena worth more or no? From the first line,
no, the other Athena was around I think 180.
That's crazy.
Yes.
I like this, but I probably would have picked the other one.
I know, yeah. For me, like, if I had to choose between these two goddess lines, I think this one was definitely like very creative, and I love like the modern interpretation. But I liked the original intent of the first line. But this one's still very cool. They did have plans to make an Artemis, but I think the line got canceled, or they just decided to discontinue it. So this was yes, this line.
See,
this
you
one.
should have mentioned that earlier. Then I would have guessed right in these prices because I didn't know it was a canceled line. See, Codebuster said mind blown. Rob did the mind blown emoji.
I know.
It's because you get two figures in one. You get Medusa and the shield. And
there you go.
Yeah.
But see, are we saying that Barbie can be a little bit more than pink cars?
Yeah, see.
All right.
Was this the last one, or was there more?
I think this was the last of this line.
Okay.
Oh yeah, what was your favorite? Yeah, what was your general impression? And then did you have a favorite of the line?
Where to rank these?
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
I'm with Rob. Yeah, Medusa all the way. There's something about this one I like the most about it. It's definitely a modern take, but still gives credence to like the old, even though she's not a Greek goddess.
But she's still very. Yeah, everyone knows Medusa.
It's Aphrodite, and then Athena. Yeah.
I would say for me, Aphrodite is probably my favorite, just my personal connection with her. But then I would say Medusa, and then Athena.
Yeah.
And I don't blame people for loving Medusa. She's like iconic in the Barbie line, so I had to include her on the list.
750. Jeez.
I know.
See, if you had told me this line was canceled, then I would have.
I don't think it was canceled. I think they just had plans to make another one, but then they just decided against it. Because as we see, the collections can be relatively short. It's kind of later years that they started expanding, getting like a lot in a line.
Yeah.
And I think these were around. Yeah, and I think these were around $100 when they were released.
Oh, okay. That's what I was going to ask you. What are the original?
Yeah,
like?
Okay, I kind of forgot. Yeah, I think after. Oh, which one line was it? After I think like with the Lord of the Rings and stuff, I think they were still around 30, but then they started hitting like getting a lot more expensive on even just like the basic retail price.
That's a huge jump though, like from $30 retail market to 100. Rob says, I own 2 Barbies, Superman Returns and Lois Lane in the box. Did they really make Barbies of them?
Yeah, they have some like DC and even Marvel ones, which maybe we'll see on this list.
Maybe. Ricardo says Athena looks badass, plus she comes in black.
She definitely looks. Yeah, I want to pick a fight with her.
Yeah,
she probably has mace.
All right, next one we're gonna go into is the Haunted Beauty Collection.
Yeah, one of my favorite lines. I love this one. Bill Greening. I did not know this until I was researching. Has designed so many of my favorite collections. So I'm like, this man is doing God's work. So this is 2012 to 2015. So we're getting we're getting close to what we kind of know now. So, yeah, we can go ahead into the Haunted Beauty Collection. So the first one
is this the promo shot?
Yes, this one is the Ghost Barbie. So, yeah, if you can't, you can probably guess what Haunted Beauty Collection is supposed to be. But yeah, first takes on the Ghost.
I can definitely tell the tone by the photo, but I mean, because of the promo shots, like obviously it's gonna have a dark tone, but I like the chains going around her. But
yes,
I'm starting to notice the lipstick, like the darker makeup. So
yeah,
not for a goth, like, but more for like
but yeah, kind of like the more horror, I guess you can kind of say.
Yeah, I'm having nightmares now. No, but yeah. I see some of the ripped like fabric going around her, so that's kind of cool. I can imagine like the production, they're like, just rip some fabric.
Yeah, just tear it, just like do the mummy, but not do the mummy.
Use the leftover ripped fabric from Aphrodite and put it on.
Exactly.
We want me to go to the next slide?
Yeah, because that kinda
Alright.
gets into a little closer. So, I mean,
Ooh, okay.
I do like her. I mean, I think she's super simple, but again, I mean, again, this is Barbie. Even though this is aimed at like adult collectors, I can understand that they still kind of want to be in their family friendly image. So, I mean, if someone tells you to do a ghost, you can't get really too creative with it. Obviously, I would be like, ooh, add like blood splatters and all of that, like get into it. But Barbie's not going to do that. Barbie has children they need to look after. But
It
so
just
I think
look like
very
Carrie.
true. But I think like, if for the theme of Ghost, you're not good, it's like, yes, this is probably some of the best you can do. Maybe you could have made her blue or something like that, but I like the simplicity of it. It's like a simple idea. It works for the doll. I think she has a really pretty face. I like that she has kind of almost, she's obviously going to be very pale. She has like the dead look to her 'cause she's a ghost.
Yeah.
Surprising. But the chains are very reminiscent of, I think is like the Christmas Carol with Bob Marley. Is that the one that has the chains? I
Yeah.
think we commonly associate Ghost with chains, so I can see why they included that. But yeah, I think she works for what she is. I don't think she's like compared to some of these dolls the most creative, but I think she's fine.
Yeah. I was about to say this must have been, like, cheap for them to, like, produce because it's, like not I
'Cause
get me
it's so
different.
simple, yeah.
Yeah. Um, I'm trying to remember who she reminds me of. She reminds me of,
She looks very simple.
Charlize Theron from Doctor Strange.
Oh, I could see that.
If you
Yeah,
have, like, the head sculpt at least,
yeah.
because I'm
I was
si
gonna say she's very similar to the Galadriel Barbie, even just because like the long kind of curly hair.
Mhm. But is this a promo shot or is this somebody took it on the right side of the
Someone took it on the right. Yeah,
Oh, damn, I was about to say, man, Barbie's
I
stepping
know.
it up with a toy prop.
I know. No, they did.
Um, yeah, Jerry said, "I never thought I'd be afraid of a Barbie doll." Gilbuster said, "Lightning would be big for this piece. The left image looks almost porcelain." Oh, true. While the right
Yeah.
is warmer. Yeah,
Yeah, because I can't say whether or not the left one might have had like a filter to kind of saturate it a little bit more, but yeah.
it's still a nice shot though. Yeah.
So how
All right,
much do we think the Ghost Barbie goes for?
all right. We're talking modern times now.
We are
So
talking modern, so
2012,
2012,
probably. Let's say, what does everyone think? I am gonna say 200.
200.
Yeah,
I'll give people a little bit of time
because
to put in their answers.
that was still 10 years ago, which is absurd to say now.
I know. Don't give me existential crises.
I was going to say if Barbie put that dog accessory in the back, that would have been hilarious. Jerry says 170.
All right, 170. And you said two. How much did you say? Through what
I
did you
said
say?
200.
200. Okay,
Codebuster says 240.
240. All right, she goes for around 580 to around 800.
Was this line canceled or early? early?
This line, I just don't know if they didn't produce a lot or but remember, there's like a huge like, a lot of us like our spooky dolls. Like Monster High was really big during this era too. This was like feeding a niche that not a lot of doll companies scratch.
Oh, okay. Monster High. Wow.
I know, right?
Okay. So you said
All right.
500.
500 to 800 seems to be her range.
If you're like a diehard Barbie fan and need this in your collection, just take some older sheets of clothing
And
and
just
just
rip
rip them. Yeah, just make your own.
just get a Galadriel doll and just cut the dress a little.
Rob said, "Whoa." Okay, so we're moving on to the haunted collection. Ooh, vampire.
Vampire doll. Again, one of my grails. I love this doll for
You have
obvious
this?
reasons. I don't have this, but I want
Oh,
her so bad. But yes, so impressions.
she's like who's the one? Was it Goblin Queen that you had? The Marvel Legends. What did you have? That was like the one that cost so much. It was like 150. It was a part of a box set. It
Oh,
kind of reminds me.
I don't know.
We'll figure it out later.
Okay,
It
we'll
was,
figure it out. Okay.
yeah.
I was like trying to think. I'm like, I don't know.
It reminds me of Bram Stoker's Dracula, kind of in terms of the aesthetics. Uh,
Yeah.
did they? I can't see up close. Did they give her fangs? Because I can't
Oh, yes,
see.
they do. Yeah, she does have fangs
All right.
on
Do you
her.
mind if I
Like,
go to the next one?
yeah. So I'll have to explain the next one. There's actually two additional slides for this doll in
Okay, I'll
particular.
wait then. What would you
Oh,
want to
okay.
say for this?
Oh no, we can go to the next one. I can say more on this one.
Whoa.
So,
There's a
so
headless one.
yeah, fun fact: she was based off of this Alexander McQueen fashion. The line was called "The Girl Who Lived in the Tree." It was a 2008, 2009 fashion run,
Mhm.
which if you go back, you can like definitely see like that's the image of the dress that this one was heavily inspired
Oh,
from.
okay. Yeah.
And then if we go to the next slide,
The one over?
yeah, one more over. I definitely put that the Bram Stokes, the
Oh, cool. You
iconic
already
Dracula. Yeah,
I
you
didn't
could
even okay,
definitely.
I didn't see these beforehand, y'all. I didn't see this part or Bram Stoker.
But yes, so I think it is intentional that it's also supposed to kind of give you that idea of that as well. So, uh,
Okay.
if you kind of go back again, I think the middle one is probably the best one that you can see more details of her face. She does have her fangs and all of that.
That's insane. Like that's actually pretty cool. I didn't Sorry, I'm zooming in here on my monitor to see if she's got like blood dripping down or anything like
I know.
that.
Unfortunately, like I said, they still have to keep it a little, PG-13. But
Right. Yeah, this looks pretty cool. The ring, is it pretty you can see it on this slide, right?
uh,
No, I guess
I
it's
don't
not.
know. But it's pretty big though. It's
Yeah.
again, I think someone repurposed this onto a made to move body, but
Mhm.
um but still, like her hair, I love her like her kind of bun on the top of her head. Very interesting, but I love like the high rise of the cape that kind of gives you that like vampire cloak aesthetic. The deep red, obviously, you're gonna have a vampire in like that blood red.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think she's a gorgeous doll.
You gotta keep the hair up if you're trying to bite people so
Yeah,
you
you
can
got
get
yeah, you don't
annoyed.
want it all in your like, ugh, you're gonna spit it out halfway through.
You tired of having blood on your hair? Go ahead and tell you about it. All right, so this one, this looks. I got to go back to that head sculpt because that looks insane.
I know. Even the choker and like the little embroidery near her wrists.
Yeah. All right. So for this one,
Mhm.
$500. Let's go for it.
500?
It's
Alright,
a vampire. Oh, this was probably
vampire.
during the Twilight era too.
And Barbie doesn't make vampires. I would say this is probably, like, the only vampire doll. Oh, no, I guess Bob Mackie does have, like, a Dracula doll, but,
All right, you're
but
hinting.
this
Okay, I'm
is
gonna say 700.
700?
They don't make.
Alright, I'll wait to see if anyone else puts anything in chat before I say for sure.
Um, Cherry says 400. Code
400.
was at 850.
So she ranges anywhere from
Oh,
$750
thank God.
to about 2,500. So
Get out of here.
she's kind of on par with Medusa. Like, if I had
You-
to choose between her and Medusa, I'm definitely choosing the vampire lady. She is
yeah,
iconic.
you dox that person right now, charging $2,500.
Oh, I got them on my list. It's on eBay. But
25.
yeah,
Yeah, this one. If I choose this and Medusa, I'd probably still go with Medusa though.
really, okay. I just like vampires,
Uh,
so
That was a late entry from Rob. I guess. Will we count
1200?
that 1,200? All right, he's close.
1200. There you
1,200.
go. Got it right in the middle for her usual asking price.
All right. So
Okay.
next one.
Yes, Mistress of the Manor, which gives me very like Haunted Mansion
Yeah.
from Parks.
Well, the chambermaid keys. Yeah. Looks like
So, impressions.
it's very like the dress looks very Victorian, so it's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
The hair. Oh, I just noticed the hair. It's just like yeah, it's just like what you see from like the '50s series. Like what was it, the Munsters or something? Like
Yeah,
the white
yeah,
strand. Yeah,
Adam's family kind of too in some ways.
yeah. Um, it is plain, but it still achieves I think what it's trying to go for in terms of like aesthetics. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say if we go to the next slide. She's not my favorite. She gives me a little bit like
Ooh,
Cruella
side
de
eye.
Vil kind of vibes and stuff.
Yeah.
And from like the haunted, I mean like a ghost and a vampire are very like you see those dolls and you know what they're trying to be. This one I would be a little bit more confused. I think she's supposed to be like owner of like a haunted house or something.
Hmm.
Um but that's also kind of like, oh, okay, you probably could have done like something a little bit more creative. But like, I still think like the fashion is great. It's a very beautiful dress. Honestly, the quality's there, but like this definitely isn't my favorite of the line.
It's just because kind of like like
Yeah,
plain.
it's just boring.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't scream the theme to me. I probably would have much preferred something else to be in her place, than just like a mansion owner, creepy
Yeah.
Victorian lady.
She's the one that's housing all the monsters. So
She
she
is. You know what? She's the one that's like making sure the ghost doesn't rattle her chains too loud at night and that the vampire's being fed. She's doing her job.
The makeup is good. She is doing the side. I think she's judging on us also on this one. Wait, what does the journal say? Life in the
She,
stream house.
yeah, it's like a haunted book with her little candelabra too.
Yeah. All right. So
So how
This one,
much? Yeah, how much do you think this one goes for?
let's go high, y'all. Let's go 2,500.
2,500. Are you sure about that?
All right, $800.
$800?
Just goes. Her hair gives me Cruella de Vil vibes. Yeah, for sure. That's what Cobuster said. Yeah, I'll say 800. All right, Rob. We'll catch you later. He said it's split, but I'll watch
Thanks
the
for
rest of it.
joining.
Thanks, Rob.
All right, she is around 400 to 700.
Cobuster was right.
Yep, around 400 to 700.
Jerry said, I remember there were Twilight Barbies and Toys R Us on clearance when they were closing down. Oh, wow.
There was.
Is it on the list?
No, Twilight did not make this introductory list. All right, then we have the
All right,
zombie Barbie.
Okay.
Zombie Bride. Very Corpse Bride reminding. I was actually going to look up if Corpse Bride had come out before, if this was supposed to be like indirectly inspired by that, but I forgot to look that up. But Zombie Bride, I think, very self-explanatory.
Mhm. First impressions, heavy on the makeup, but for good reason. She's a zombie.
Yeah.
It kind of gives me vibes from like Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah,
Sort of.
same.
I'm guessing that hair is like mixed with gray and black.
Yeah, I
like
think
to
a
see,
little bit of blue maybe too.
and I'm trying to see if that pattern on the dress is that's just a normal pattern. But now hold on, if she's a zombie, how are her flowers still intact?
Yeah, you're asking that when like a zombie's coming back from the grave, you know? There's some sort of walking magic happening here.
Can you imagine? How do you get your
How
flowers?
did you get your flowers? I mean, it's amazing you're alive too, but
But yeah. All right, I'm gonna go to the next slide.
yeah.
I can't believe they did a zombie in the Barbie line.
So
Well,
that gives
she
us a
even
little
looks more
bit.
like a zombie. Yeah.
I know. So I mean, I do like her. I like her more than the Mistress of the Manor because at least this one is still kind of like a Cryptide. She's not like my favorite. I don't think like compared to some of the others. I don't think she like holds as much weight as compared to like the vampire that was very eye catching. But I mean, it's a zombie. It's a bride.
Yeah.
It's
Uh,
like it's
it's
okay.
it's there.
It's there. It's there. She's there.
Plato says he says looks more ghost than zombie, more ghost than Barbie even.
Yeah, I could see
Go.
that. You,
Go. Oh god, sorry, my bad.
I was just gonna say, I almost wish that they did kind of like some like I don't know, like flesh missing pieces or something. I know Barbie still wants to keep like their sanitation, but like
I was
make her a little bit more zombie.
I was about to say, yeah, if you're gonna make it more zombie, like have like a missing limb or something.
At this
I
bride,
guess
they
she's
just could
missing
have
her
called
teeth.
her. They could have just called her like Dead Bride. She's
Yeah.
more like dead than zombie, but yeah.
Kobuster said, "Don't use logic and reason." Yeah, I shouldn't if a zombie's coming after me.
All right, how much do you think Zombie Bride goes for?
Doesn't is that the actual box of it? By the way,
I think so. I think this one had a pretty basic box presentation.
all right, I'm gonna give it like 150.
150. All right.
I'm lowballing this one. Uh,
I mean, compared to the other one, she is low, but she's still around 500 to 600.
Jesus, I said 150. Cobuster said 1,000. Jerry said World War Z Barbie. Well, thanks again for playing. I'm way off on pricing.
So I do think this is the last one of this line. So do you have
okay.
a favorite of this collection?
The vampire one, I think, is
The
probably my
vampire?
favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, she's a good one. She's my favorite too. So I do
Mm.
like this line. I like the idea of it. I'm glad Barbie went a little bit more macabre, but
It could have gone a little bit further, but I
it could
guess
have gone a little bit more further. But it's still a cool collection that's out there.
yeah, I think this is probably the weakest one of the wave of the
Okay,
line.
I would put the
Or
Manor one
you
a
would
little
put this
lower.
one?
I would put
Really?
that one, yeah. But
No.
I like the idea of like a dead bride, so a little bit more than scary house lady. But
Come on. Koba said vampire for sure. Yeah. Yeah, this one sticks out the best, like out of all of them. Wow, I can't believe you put Mistress the Manor below.
I did.
But
But that's personal. That's just on what I would
personal
buy.
preference.
Like I
Yeah.
would, I would buy this one over the other one. So that's just why.
Right. All right. So
All right.
Ending the
And
haunted collection. We're gonna go.
with the Space Goddess series, also designed by Bill Greening. This is 2011 through 2013. This one I did at least was able to find like a little like catchphrase, which was like each doll is Barbie presented as a futuristic space deity wearing appropriate fashion, which I'm like, wow, that is an idea.
Yeah.
So
All right. So this was a limited run. It looks like 2
yeah,
years, three. Yeah. Whoa. It's like a Lady Gaga video.
I love that you say that because literally the first ride is Get Ready to Go Gaga for the Goddess of the Galaxy. So I wonder who this one was inspired off of. But yeah, so
Oh,
impressions.
that's right. Sorry, 2000. Yeah, early 2010s was Gaga's era. Yeah,
Mhm.
still is there. But yeah, you can definitely tell the futuristic aesthetics to Space Goddess.
Very sci-fi.
Right. Even the heel, like yeah, the high, like the platform shoes have the like even the design goes all the way through there. I like the metallic middle piece there. Looks pretty cool. I wonder if they're using plastic like vac metal because I know it's not used anymore in
Okay.
toys because it's like
Yeah.
bad for the environment. But yeah,
Okay, yeah, you can go to the next slide.
okay. uh, Space Goddess, heck yeah, this plateau.
Yeah. So you can
There's
see,
some Lady
you know,
Gaga.
I know. But I do really like the
Okay,
heavy makeup again. This one is also one that kind of gives me a little bit of the drag element, just of how like dramatic and accentuated they go with the makeup, which I really like for this look. I really like her like breastplate piece. That's very like futuristic kind of. I like the spheres with her hair. Her hair is also very dramatic. Like everything about this doll and this line is very dramatic, and I appreciate it for that.
especially the makeup because I didn't
Mhm.
realize it has like the stones like on the thing on next to her
Oh
eye.
yeah, like next to her eyes. And like the really long eyelashes.
Yeah. Shout out whoever took this photo. I could see his reflection on like the
Oh, and
breastplate.
the
There's the
breastplate.
camera right there. But this looks dope. Now, if this came out 2011,
Yes, how
do you know what
much?
the retail price of this was or no?
I think this was still 100. Because I think
That's
up
not
until
bad.
recently, yeah, they've always been kind of like in the 100 range.
Okay, for this completely, yeah, it's not bad for 100. Going for now, I'm gonna
Yes.
say 500. What do
Okay.
y'all say? But I know what you mean when you say like the makeup's kind of like very drag. I can,
Yeah,
yeah, it doesn't.
it just could be that impression, especially with how they do like the cheekbones and stuff.
Mhm.
Which I really like because I think it definitely plays into like the performance aspect of what these dolls are. All right.
Are all these like this? Because I didn't even notice the eyelash till now too. Like,
Yeah, some of them have rooted, most don't, so that's kind of unique. Like Medusa also had, I think that line also had the rooted eyelashes.
yeah.
So some do. So we're getting around 600 in the chat. So she is around 600.
All right.
There is one for around 400, but 600 is the most common.
Well, we're gonna take the 400, so I'm closer now. That was a good guess, guys. Everyone got 600. Are all these dolls like this in terms of aesthetics? Because like, let's see what
Yeah,
the next.
it's kind of this goddess line.
Yeah, let's see
All
what
right,
the
if you
next
want to
one
click
is.
next one, Empress of
Okay,
the Aliens. So what do we think about this one?
very alien esque, keeping that color scheme that aliens are green. So there's the green throughout some of the dress, but and yeah, look at the. I don't know if that's part of her shoe or what. The thing that's going up, like that plastic piece. That's
Oh
pretty cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Because she reminds me of a character, but I don't play it. It's some sort of like kind of like fantasy sci-fi video game where like you can either choose to be a part of the Horde or like the people who fight the Horde. Isn't there like an alien queen in that?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what the game was called though.
Yeah, she kind of reminds me. I don't know. She gives me that those kind of aesthetics.
Jerry says
But
looks like Deathbird of X Men, and Koba says lots of Poison Ivy
poison ivy.
vibes.
Yeah, if we were to go to the next slide, we can kind of see some closer details with her.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So yeah, she does kind of have this weird, like, kind of like organic, synthetic kind of look to her. Which I guess kind of, if she's supposed to be kind of this like alien organic material like being. I could definitely see where people would get that kind of that nature poison ivy vibes from. I really like her eyes. I kind of like that they also went with another kind of slitted alien look. To me, she kind of screams a little bit more crocodile, but
What?
just like with the scaling on her skirt and just like how her eyes are,
Oh,
I don't know. There's something
yeah.
about it. I'm like, she looks like a swamp monster more to me, but
It's cool because you can tell with the eyes, it looks like they're making it perceive like she has contacts on,
oh, okay,
like giving
yeah,
her that
yeah. So
look. So that's kind of cool.
I do think she's like definitely like an interesting Barbie. Certainly, this isn't a look that is commonly seen.
Yeah.
So how much do you think she goes for?
Let's go 600, y'all.
600? And just for sake of time, I'll just say yeah, she's around 425.
Damn. Okay.
There's even
24.
some for around 275. So a little bit kind of well, at least we're seeing some lower prices again, but
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and go to the next one.
Queen of the
Constellation.
Constellations. So what do you think of that one?
There's a lot going on with this, honestly. I can't. Um, I don't. To be honest, I don't really like it just because it's like it's too. I don't know. The
Almost too much.
Yeah.
And if we go to the next slide, I think we can see a little bit more kind of better. So
Just looks like
yeah,
she's wearing a blanket. Honestly.
I could see it. I think I like this one more than the alien one because at least like I feel like there's
What?
still yeah I think there's more of a streamlined look to it. The alien one just looks like they threw random stuff together. And I like her hair. I think this one's hair is amazing, and I like the kind of like the this weird crown thing coming out of her neck and like the bone structure to her bodice. She doesn't scream like constellations to me, so I don't know what like where the star element is coming from. But she kind of looks like I don't know. She looks like a Sith Lord.
Yeah, if they accentuated more stuff that she had inside, like the detailing, I
Yeah.
think I would like it more. I just don't like how they just drape that stuff over her.
Okay. Yeah.
Someone said Dune Barbie.
Dude Barbie.
Okay, I'm going
Meh.
to say this one is going for 500.
She is going between 150 to 260.
My God. uh, Cuppa said the stripes on the cloak clutters the more elaborate detail behind it. Yeah, that's what I think that's doing it for me. That's why I can't really like, you know,
Yeah.
get behind it. $600. So 150 really?
Yeah, 150 to 260. So she's definitely the more affordable of this line.
Yeah.
And I think that's the whole line. So is there a favorite you have of the three?
You have to go back to her. Goddess, the space goddess, the
Space
galaxy of the
Ghost.
goddess.
I would say I think so too, but I also like Lady Gaga. This is definitely that. And then I would say for me it would be the constellation and the alien. I'm just not a big fan of the alien.
Different taste, I guess.
Different taste, yes.
Constellation's your favorite one.
I I don't know what it is. I just there's something about it. I love the makeup. I love the hair.
Yeah. You like
But
the
I
things
almost
coming
like
out of her.
simple dolls, yeah.
Mm. Okay, so not a bad one, 150, but
I know, maybe I could get her one day. You know
yeah,
what? There we go.
there's one of them.
I'll appreciate her. All right. Ooh, my favorite. My bias is showing. My favorite line. The
Saving it
far
for like.
second to last. So we're almost done, guys. I'm sorry. We do have the
No, thank
faraway
you.
forest. We have this one's 2014 to 2018, so very recent. Again, we still see Bill Greening hitting some home runs.
Seems
So
to be a
we can
trend here with this presentation.
I yeah, I didn't even realize it till I was researching it. Then
That's
I was
okay.
like, I need to meet this dude. I need to write him a letter and be like, I love you. So
Bill
we
Greening, if you're watching this right now,
I love you. So we could go to the first slide.
Elf.
Ah, Elf.
Yeah,
Sometimes called Elf Princess, but I most commonly see it just Elf. So take it as you will. What are your thoughts?
definitely represents Elf in terms of aesthetics. Kind of reminds me of the Brave. You ever watch Brave?
Oh, Meridia, yeah, or
Yeah,
Mirda, or yeah, I gotta
kind of
see
reminds
that.
me of her aesthetics too. But I can definitely see Elf with this.
Yes,
But is there more to her hair? Is it just those two?
there is. If we go to the next slide, you could kind of see a little bit more better
There we go.
details. Yeah.
Okay. And then the one on the right's the one you took in your backyard.
Oh, yes, you know it because I have her out of my box.
Is she still in the box?
Yes.
We can take her out then. Let's go.
No.
No. Okay. Oh, you can see the makeup more in detail on the left photo.
Yes.
But what are
So,
your thoughts on it?
yeah, I really like her, but I'm biased. I love elves, and I think this one very much is like a very like druid kind of nature elf. I really like that. I love her hair. I think she's really pretty. She has a really unique kind of like soft, longer face. I like as well. I like just like the simplicity of her crown. I like her staff. Anytime a video game allows me to be a mage, I'm gonna be a mage, so I like it. So I'm like, oh, mage staff. Um, so yeah, I think she's simple, but I like the simplicity of it. They didn't go too crazy and they didn't try to add too much. I think she works for what she is, and she does have the pointed ears. You just can't really tell with how her hair is
I was about to
draped
say
over
I
her.
can't see these.
Yeah, but she does
But
have the elf ear sculpt, so I
I'm
like her.
curious how they do like the cloak because like having it rest on the shoulders is really hard, especially in like a
I know.
smaller scale. So it has to
Yeah,
be like
they
a heavy material.
Yeah, and they have and it does kind of clasp together, so that's what keeps it kind of bunched at the neck too.
There's one way we can find this out. If
Yeah, if I
one of
take
us
it
had,
out, I'm not.
if only one of us had this.
Well, how much do you think the faraway forest elf Barbie is? Oh, and
Was it?
there is a story to the faraway forest. That's why I like the line so much. So
Oh, a backstory to this.
yeah, so she's like the elf guide that's taking you through this fantasy land. She's your Gandalf, your little
And,
guide.
and she's introducing the other characters we're going to see.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, for this, I'm going to say 250. People are
250?
saying 340. Codebuster says. Jerry says 350. I'll say 250.
She goes for 850 to
Oh my
$2,700.
Did you? Never
I did
mind.
not pay 850 for her. No, I paid less than that, but she's one of my grails and I have her, and that's why she's not coming out of her box.
800.
850 to
Sorry,
2,700.
850. My God. All right. Well, I'm gonna base the next. Oh, shout outs to Sleeping Fairy Princess. I just saw the copyright next to the dress. So shout outs to
Oh,
them.
yes, yes.
Jerry says Barbie the Brown. So I'm gonna keep
Yeah.
that baseline now of 850 going forward.
All right, so we have the Lady of the White Woods. I believe the plot, the very loose plot of this collection is that they're trying to find the missing fiance for like the prince of this land. So the elf is taking you on a journey through all these like different lands trying to find her. So they come to the first location they come to is the White Woods, and they meet with the overseer of the White Woods to be like, "Hey, have you seen her?" So she's like the Galinda, the good witch, I guess.
She's the good witch.
Yeah, she's the good ruler.
First impressions on this is the dress. Like we talked about earlier, I think it was with Aphrodite.
Okay, yeah.
That material is like spread out throughout the dress, which looks cool. That's the first thing that sticks out to me, at least. I do like the braids. I can't tell. No, it's just one color. I thought it was two different colors, but
Yeah, she has like kind of like ribbon, not ribbon, but like lacing throughout her hair.
yeah, I
String.
do like the. I do like the crown. Kind of emulates like woods, like the tree. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, if we go to the next slide, because the next slide just has a better close. I think she
Wait,
has one
wait,
of the
wait. Why is it
oh
two different colors? Or is that
this
a filter? No.
I think I think on the promotional it looks a little bit more pink, but it's a little bit more this like golden brown.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait.
But I think she has one of the prettiest faces. I think she has a really nice face. I love like kind of like the wing pattern around her eyes that you can kind
Mhm.
of see, and like the threading even in her eyebrows. I love the branches and the leaves on her neck piece. I'm not too big of a fan of like the lower half of the dress. I would have preferred something a little bit more like to the shape of it, but I can understand if it's trying to be like the trees and the forest. She looks a little bit like Kira Knightley to me. I don't know if I'm the only one that like sees Kira
The
Knightley.
second photo, I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, she kinda looks that she kind of reminds me of her, but, I really like her. I think she's a pretty strong doll for at least in, like I just think she has a really unique face, and that
Mhm.
usually what sells Barbie on me.
With a face. It's not even
Yeah.
the okay.
The clothes help a lot, but I know if they have, like, a really nice face, I'm like, "Okay."
Have you bought a Barbie that has like a butterface?
Like, what do you mean?
Like the face isn't good, but the dress and
Oh, but the
all
dresses
this.
not really, because I think it's because I put so much priority in just how she looks. The costume's kinda secondary, so I don't think I would ever get one just because I like the outfit.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, unless it's, like, affordable and I could take it off and put an outfit on another one.
What if like the presentation's nice too? Like the bot. I mean, this one not, but
No,
like
the face has to
no.
be there, yeah.
Come on. All right. Okay.
No. Alright,
Okay.
how much do we think?
Let's go 850.
850? She is commonly 195 for 260.
I hate this.
Alright,
Ooh, Maleficent. Sorry.
we had so we have Queen of the Dark Forest. So after the Lady of the White Woods was in all that hopeful, they went to her sister, which is the evil queen essentially, and I think she's the one that like spirited the fiance away or something. She's the bad guy. But yes,
Clearly,
thoughts.
because the dress on the other one was white, and this one's
And this
black.
one's black. Oh yeah, we all have that narrative. So what do you think?
First thought, sorry, you heard me say it, Maleficent immediately when I saw it.
It is very very Maleficent.
Gives me Maleficent vibes. I do like the crown. You can tell she's evil because they're pointed. Um, Actually, I do like the collar piece too, the one that they're using. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm curious to see if the next slide we see more of her face because I wonder if that's all just black makeup, like around her eyes and then her lips.
Yeah, we could go to the next slide. I think I have
Oh
Yeah,
no.
so
Okay.
that
Hold on,
gives
hold
you
on.
kind of a little bit better. I mean, I think she's fine. I have most of this line, and she's one I'm not going to go out of my way to get. Um, so I think that kind of tells my opinion on it. I just don't think she's anything new. She just kind of seems very like typical Disney villain. There's just nothing. They're not bringing anything new to the table that I'm like interested in buying. I mean, I do like the black crystal crown,
Yeah.
and in the and they the dress has some pattern to it, so it's not just like a solid black. There's a little bit of pizzazz there, but she's just boring to me. To me, she's just boring.
I can see that. Given what we've seen so far, yeah, I can see why you think it's boring. It
All
is a
right.
little bit in terms of color scheme. Now, you said you don't plan on adding this to your collection.
No, which is a shame because I would love to have like the full Faraway Forest collection, but I'm not that much of a completionist that I would spend kind of the money for her to get. So
Is it price permitting or just like you're just not interested?
I'm just not interested, and the price does. Um, I mean, you can guess what's her price.
Sorry.
I would
See
say
what I did there? You see what I was trying to
she's
do?
closer to the Lady of the White Woods, I would say, than the elf. I will give that hint.
200.
200. She's around 400. So add
Wait,
another
how much was
200. The Lady
maybe
of the White Woods was around 150. And the
that's
elf
not where
was like
along the that's not along the same price range.
I said she was closer to the light.
Because okay.
She's closer to that than like
Oh,
the over almost to 2,500.
my bad. All right. Okay, she's
But
a lot.
I'm not gonna spend $400 on a doll that I'm like not even that impressed with. So that's why I'm like I would love to complete the line, but I'm not gonna spend
I'd
dollars
understand.
on a
Yeah.
doll.
It wouldn't be worth the satisfaction of completing it just to have this one. Yeah, I get
No, not when that could pay for at least half of the vampire
it.
one day.
Is this the last one of the line or no?
No, there's a few more. This one was kind of a longer.
Oh, the
So
water
so
sprite.
the water sprite. So they I think this was actually after the elf. I don't know why I included her in the I think she was actually the first place they go and she tells them to look for the others. But anyway, she is, like a water nereid kind of from like
Mhm.
a nymph kind of spirit like character. So impressions.
I can see that what you just described. They made her blue, so this is the first time seeing like another Barbie doll with a different complexion completely.
Yes.
It's using that thing that kind of like that I like. It's like attached to the wrist, I guess. Essentially,
Okay,
the
yeah, kind of the
wristles.
cuffs that flow out.
Yeah, I do like that. Uh, do you mind if I go to the next
Oh yeah,
one?
go ahead.
I can't tell if it's like two shades of blue or it's just one. Oh, okay, it is kind of like mixed in there, sort of, or no? Am I just seeing things?
Yes. Yeah, there's multiple colors of blue in her.
Okay. Oh, the
Yeah,
necklace looks cool.
I really like her, but I'm very biased. I love mermaid kind of water spirit nymph aesthetics, obviously by this list. I think she's I do have her, so I can say like in person she's really really pretty. She does stand up to being just really nice to look at in person. I love kind of like the molding of like the chest plate kind of. I
Right.
like the trident. She has like fins. You can't really tell, but she does have like fins on her like armlets.
Like,
Um, it
oh,
just like
okay.
yeah, like the shimmering fabric kind of scaled in her dress, in her fin. She has like fins on the side of her crown. She
Hmm.
does have like little like dots underneath her eyes as well. So I just she's really pretty and she's unique and she kind of plays into that like that fantasy element we saw a lot with the fairy queen in the Ireland line.
I I do like the crowning. I realized also it's like slightly blue. Like it's two different colors of
Yeah,
the
it's like
blue.
a
Yeah.
pinkish bluish purple kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. Did
So
you
she
have this one in box still?
yes.
Cool. I guess all or some of them you said are out of box.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I originally was gonna take them out. I might take them out one day. I'm not completely against it, but for now, I kind of like, displaying them in box. I don't really have a place to put them anyways, so it kind of helps just having them still in their box.
Yeah. I do like I do like also like the hair too. There's a lot of
Yes.
detail going on in there.
Yeah, she looks like she could like easily blend into water, and I like that.
Mhm. Just don't put it in water, y'all. If you
Just don't put it in water. All right, how much do you think she is?
it's so off. Let's do 300.
300? Yeah,
Yeah.
she's around. I would say she's more around 400 to 500, but there has been like 380 for her listing. But yeah, she's kind
Okay.
of in that range. So middle hundreds.
Okay, cool. Shout outs to Laguna 89 who took that first photo.
Yes. All
Okay.
right. So
Uh-oh, we got Ken.
we
He's
got another
back.
Ken. We got Ken again. Yay. King of the Crystal Cave. He is like the realm's protector. So there we go. What's your thoughts on Ken, King of
Uh,
the Crystal Cave.
improved armor compared to Aragorn.
Yeah, yeah, I do think they got a little bit more fun with it.
Yeah. Uh, do you have
He
this one
is
by any chance?
I don't. I would like to have him. He is one I would like. He is, I think he's the only one I'm missing, other than the Dark Forest one. He is
Okay.
the only other one that I need, but, and I would be willing to get him. I just haven't gotten around to it.
I do like this one. I do like the armor plate. So I was trying to read some of his bio that's in like what animal that is in this chest plate.
Oh, it's yeah, I think it's a wolf.
The wolf guy. I do like that. I like the aesthetics. It reminds me honestly of like somewhat a mix between like He-Man armor and also a mix of like I don't know how to describe it. Something I'd probably see in like Game of Thrones kind of.
Yeah, I know, I could see, like, yeah. It has that not high fantasy, that kinda, like, realistic fantasy feel to it,
Yeah.
almost. If we go to the next slide, I think we have maybe a better
Jerry says looks like Thandrew.
Thandra oh,
Thandrew?
yeah, from, The Hobbit, I can
Yeah.
see that.
Oh no, what
So
happened to his hair?
out
Compared
of
to
box, man, out of box,
oh
yeah.
no.
He needs a nice shampoo and conditioning. What I do like about this one, he is a little bit more articulated. I don't think so in the legs, but in the arms, so you can kind of pose him more with his sword. Barbie did kind of they did that with the water spirit as well as for her trident.
Mhm.
So I do like that they did try to put in some movability. I do like he has a sword. Love it when Barbies could be weaponized. I love the
And he's
fur.
actually holding it. Look at that. He's actually
I know
holding
he's
the
he's ready to use it. I do like the fur on his boots that kind of ties into that wolf motif he's trying to go into. You can kind of see even like a little bit of a wolf face on like the belt at the very bottom there. I think that's supposed to be
oh
kind of
yeah,
like a
I see.
wolf. Yeah, so I
There's
think
a
yeah, I think the in the armor's interesting. They at least kind of got creative. I mean, it could be a little bit more because I think all being it all one color kind of makes it all blended together. But I still think it's a cool. He's a decent Ken.
yeah, for sure. Much more improved than what we've seen before. I feel like there's a lot of upkeep when it comes to taking these out of the box.
Yeah,
Because look at
that's
the
yeah.
fur on the boots, like compared to what we see in the promo shots here.
I know that is the risk and reward. Like if you take it out, you can kind of still like move it around and pose it and stuff. But if it's in box, it kind of keeps in that nice presentation mode.
Yeah.
All
Um,
right, how much do we think Ken of the Crystal Cave is?
400. Codebusters said,
400?
I almost get the king vibes from World of War.
I don't know who the Lich King is, so but I will believe you. He is actually 150.
Wow, I thought this would be more expensive
I
considering he's
know,
like,
which is I was trying to give you the hint by saying I could get him. Like I usually 150 is a budget I am willing to pay with some dolls, but
my
it's when
bad. I
it
missed the context clues. My bad.
it's when it starts getting into that 300 above range. I'm like, oh man, I gotta like them a lot.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, Code Buster 150.
150. Yeah.
All
Okay.
right,
Terry said 400 also.
is that? Yeah, go to the next one. I no, there's one more in the set.
oh, I remember we talked about this one.
Yes, I do own them. I got them for Christmas, so I do have this pair. I love them. So this is the Fairy Kingdom wedding. This is the prince is finally reunited with his lost bride, so they can have their wedding. Woo,
Woo.
woo, yay, wedding. So what's your thoughts?
Fine stitching on the outfits. I like how the tires match. I remember we talked about this because isn't there a promo shot of all of them together?
Yes, yes, and
This
I
is
was
the one
like,
I
I
like.
was, I was checking them off because I think they all come as guests to the wedding.
Yeah, I like that. I can't tell if it's the lighting or what, but I also know in the complexion of the Ken version, it looks also darker, which is cool. And
Yes.
again, doing paint or like a beard on that type of plastic is hard. So from this angle, looks good. It kind of looks like Barbie. She has like her hair kind of in a bun, kind of.
Yeah, she has like kind of like volume to her hair. It's
yeah.
like yeah. If we go to the next slide, I think I have I think I put yeah. I tried getting some more closer
Okay.
images.
Cool.
The
Yeah.
lighting isn't great in these pictures. They're not that yellow toned, but
he looks like Tommy Fury. Sorry, he's a boxer.
But I do think I do think this is one of the Kens that looks really good. I don't have a problem with him in person. I really like the Barbie. She has a really pretty face. I love the gold that she kind of accents her like under eye with. I think the dress is really pretty. I mean, I think both costumes are very nice. I do like the matching elements. They have like a little bit of embroidery and like some plastic pieces to kind of like elevate it. Yeah, I think they're a great two pack. I like their story. I think that's the strength of this line for me is that they try to have like a consistent tale to kind of keep that fairy tale vibe to it.
yeah.
Um,
It's
But
kind of
yeah.
easier to like a collection line when there is a backstory as opposed to just
Yeah,
randomized characters. Yeah.
exactly. So I liked that they had, I mean, it's like the storyteller in me. I was like, "Ah, cool, Barbie." Got like a little fairy tale going on. So it was a nice end because I think this was like the last
No.
like
And look at
doll set to be released in the collection.
and look at the presentation. They're holding hands in the
I
box.
know. Yeah. Now see, that's like that is the strength of keeping them in boxes that you can still kind of keep like what the collection display had in mind for them.
And like what they're supposed to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say my favorite line is probably this 2-pack, honestly.
This one, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just because
Do
like
mhm.
huh? Yeah, good. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna say, do you want to guess how much?
My bad. I jumped ahead.
Oh no, you're good.
This is a 2-pack, so let's go 700.
700. They are only around 150 to 240.
I'm so off.
The elf is definitely the most expensive, and I don't know why. I don't know if she was a limited one or what, but yeah,
I
she was kind of a that was a little bit. I probably that was like a little bit of a red herring. She kind of elevated the line more, but no, I do. I would say my favorite's probably the elf, just because I like elves and Barbie doesn't do them often. But I would say this one's probably my second favorite.
what
And then
would you say the weakest one is?
the dark forest one,
Yeah.
Maleficent.
Yeah.
Maleficent, then probably Crystal Ken, not because I don't like him, but I liked the Lady of the White Woods a little bit more. But I think personally, I think all of them are pretty strong. I think this is a line that consistently kind of kept its quality.
Yeah. I do like that there's with the other ones were there backstories for that as well. I mean, so
Not
some of them might no.
not really, because some of them are just like these are Greek goddesses, so we put them together. I mean, the Irish, the Legends of Ireland had kind of some myths to them, but this is
Yeah.
like the first one with like at least of this set that has like a comprehensive story connecting all the characters.
Uh, that adds to it though, like you said earlier, the collection.
Yeah.
Coach says Elf's my favorite. All these elves, did they do Lord of the Rings Barbie at some point? Oh, you just missed it,
Yes.
Plateau.
You
Talked
gotta
about it earlier in the show.
when this live stream's posted, you'll have to go back. There was a Lord of the Rings collection that we went through. It was a Galadriel, Legolas, and then an Arwen Aragorn set.
Cosplay Aragorn.
Yeah. All right. The last line, I think. I thought
Oh,
we would
here we go.
end. Thought we would
Oh,
end
thanks.
with something this channel's a little bit more familiar with. There was a Star Wars line that came out relatively, I think, at the same time, but I'm not as familiar with Star Wars, so we're ending on Marvel. We did have just recently in 2019, when the world didn't know the
Right.
plague. Use simple, happier days.
Can
But
I say thank you for? I mean, that was nice of you. I've enjoyed all the other collections, but thank you for adding
you're
this
wel-
one.
you're welcome. I thought it would be good to end on again. Bill Greening,
I was gonna say yeah, Bill
my
Greening this
man,
one.
my man. So yes, we are celebrating Marvel's 80th year of X-Men
And there
with
she is.
the Dark Phoenix. So what do you think? What do you think?
When I initially think of these, I'm like, I should have picked it up when I saw these at GameStop because I remember like I was like big into just getting everything X-Men related. I was like, no, I'll wait till it goes on clearance. And then it did, and I never picked it up. And I
Oh
wish I would
really?
have.
I did have her for a while, but since I downsized my collection, unfortunately, I don't have her anymore.
No,
I did really like her when I had her. She was a tough, but I'm not like nothing against her. I think Jean Grey's a great character, but she's never been like the character that spoke the most to me. Like had they put out a Scarlet
is
Witch,
is
never
it
would have
because
left.
she can beat Wanda, or is it like
I think you're pull disagree with you.
I know? Did you remember that? All right,
Wanda could just be like no more Phoenix, and then, but but no, but so a little disappointed we haven't gotten that type of Scarlet Witch yet, but I think she's great. I did really like the Dark Phoenix. She's a really cool figure, so I
it
like
is.
her. But
I had
what's your thoughts? Your
I liked it honestly. Is there another slide to this or no?
yes, there is.
Okay, I
Oh,
did like this initially, and I would. Oh, she's seen better days on the right side.
again,
um,
they're kinda hard to find out of box, but yeah.
I had an idea. The reason why I wanted to pick this up was because it was around the time I think Fox delayed X Men again, the Dark Phoenix movie, and there was a
Oh, Sophie
uh,
Turner.
sort of head sculpt from like sorry, Game of Thrones that they were selling separately, and I was gonna pop that on here and make my own custom card,
Oh, that
but
would
it
have been
never came to
cool.
fruition. But I liked it a lot. It's a very simple design. I wish you didn't
Yes,
sell it, but it's
I
very
know. You should have told me. I probably could have just given her to you,
well.
okay. How much do you think she goes for right now in the secondary third party market?
I'm gonna say anywhere between like 100 150.
She's around, I would say around 80. 80 is her comfortable price. I
Here we
think
go.
I know. Yeah. I think the release price was actually 60. It wasn't 100. They were kind of in that 50, $60 range. I remember seeing it at GameStop, but yeah, I think the benefit of these is that they are completely posable. They do have the made to move body, so you can get those dynamic kind of flight action poses for them, which I
Yeah,
think is
because
kind of necessary.
in box the presentation was kind of like that too, because it was a
Yes.
plastic packaging and you could see like yeah. All right, so who's after? Is it
Yes, there's two more.
Storm? There we
Storm.
go.
We got Storm.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thoughts?
Thoughts? I like this. It's like I'm trying to remember what comic run it was for when she started wearing this, but I have the Marvel Legends version of this.
Okay.
But this one I do like a lot. I like this look for Storm. You can see it is that posable body that you were talking about.
Yes.
I do like the white hair that they used for her that she has out of box. I guess it's just aesthetics. It's because there's no clothing on her. It just looks really skinny. Because
Okay,
that's
yeah.
it.
Mhm.
But
But
your
yeah, no,
thoughts?
yeah, I like her. I think it was I think all the dolls they released, I think the Dark Phoenix and Storm were very smart for the X-Men because I think they're some of the, they're like the most iconic leading ladies.
Mhm.
I know a lot of people Storm's one of their favorites. I love that she has kind of more white eyes because that's like when she like powers up and
Yeah.
does her like storm magic. That tends to happen. Um, yeah, I have nothing. I think she's a really great doll. Obviously, we're always glad when Barbie finally adds in more diversity. Yay!
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely lacking, especially from this slide. You could definitely see they're still not best, but I'm glad that they included Storm in their lineup. They
They're
needed to.
making strides. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love what Jerry said. He said, "Looks like an action figure." Would you believe that this is?
I think it looks like with the posability, I think Barbie was trying to also be able to like try to like tempt the people who like action figures over a little.
I
Um,
knew a lot of people that bought this. Yeah,
yeah, so I think they did a good job. So how much do you think Storm goes for?
80 to 150.
She actually
Let's see
goes for
here.
200.
Damn it. Okay,
All right, our last one of the night.
Mystique.
Mystique. Yes, thoughts.
This is probably the best one out of the
Okay,
three.
of the lineup.
Yeah, and the reason why I say this is because just like in terms of aesthetics, like the Storm one, because she was like missing something covering the arms, it's
Hmm.
like very visible, really skinny. This one looks more like I don't know how to explain it, but it looks more true to the source material because its aesthetics looks like an actual,
Yeah, I
And
would say like
I remember this is one I really wanted to get to.
yeah, because I think isn't this her most iconic look? Isn't this like the Mystique look? I'm not as familiar, but I think that this tends
Yeah.
to be like her golden era look.
Mm.
So I really like that. I liked this look because that's always how Mystique has been to me, and I always think Mystique is such a great character. Love that they added like the little skull at her crown
On the
and the
top.
skulls, yeah, with her
Yeah.
waist as well. Um, I think I have a next slide. I think I have one more. Yeah, to kind of see the close up.
Oh.
So I think she's beautiful. I love her hair. Obviously, again, I love it when Barbie gets creative with skin tones, and obviously that's so important to Mystique's character.
Yeah.
So she definitely has a very unique look, and it shines through.
You can see her pupils inside, like her eyes aren't just painted straight up yellow. Like you
Yeah,
can
they
see
got
it.
like a
Yeah.
little bit of a lighter yellow to do that.
Yeah. This looks great. This is easily my favorite one of the wave, if I had
Okay,
to
I think
guess.
I think Phoenix might be mine just because I like Dark Phoenix as a character just a little bit more than Mystique, but I would say Mystique is probably my second. Nothing against Storm, I'm not as familiar with her character, so if I buy something, I'm gonna buy something I know a little bit more. But how much do you think Mystique goes for? I would say Storm's the most expensive of the line, so
Okay. So 120.
120. She is actually around the same as Phoenix, around 80, 60.
I bet you if they were to redo this line again, they probably would do like a Scarlet Witch one.
I so hope so. I was really hoping they would put out one after like Multiverse of Madness or like WandaVision. I mean, Disney Store did like a doll, but that's not really Barbie. I was because
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
they did a Black Widow Barbie, so I don't know why they didn't do a Scarlet Witch Barbie. But you know what? Hopefully in the future, I have hope.
Sometime soon.
If not, I'll buy the Goddess of the Spring and make her 70s one.
Oh, just pop that up.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so those are the collections I offered as kind of a start to show you that hopefully now you know that Barbie can be a little interesting. They definitely can be some really cool pieces for a collection. And there is so many more, but
Yeah.
I had to contain myself.
There were many. Well, sorry. Let me go ahead
So yeah.
and Hit stop screen share. All right, cool. No, thank you for putting that together because I know it was like you took a lot of time, and I really do appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. Did you have a favorite line? Was there a favorite collection? Okay, yeah, favorite collection and favorite doll of the evening.
I still gotta say Medusa.
Medusa. Okay. And then did you have a favorite
Favorite.
line?
I was gonna say the X-Men collection,
Okay.
but in retrospect, I think I like the one that we just read, the Forest series, the one with
Okay,
the
the
elf
faraway
and the, yeah,
forest.
far from, yeah,
Okay. I
yeah.
would say that's probably my favorite line, and then my favorite doll on that list is probably the elf. But for the ones I don't have, I would say the next, like if I was really hunting one, would be the vampire. But that
Okay.
is like that is a faraway dream.
Oh, I
So
forgot. Yeah, yeah, Vampire's definitely up there too. I forgot.
mhm. Jerry said Lord of the Rings was his favorite collection.
Oh, cool. I would say
Good.
elf. Um, before we end it, I did have one that I did want to show because you were talking about
Yeah.
Marvel. I'm sure you probably knew this. If not, let me know. Fun fact.
Okay.
Um, they actually made one. I don't know if my screen's loading
Oh,
for Fantastic Four,
yes.
an invisible one. So this came out '05, I believe,
I think it
and
was early 2000s. Hmm.
she had translucent arm, and the flashlight was to showcase her translucentness.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I did know she existed. I actually do want her. She's not like high on my list, but
really, you want this?
yeah, I do. I actually think she looks pretty okay. I think it's also because I like the quirkiness of having some of it transparent on her arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love Sue Storm, so I'm biased.
I didn't know that you like Sue Storm.
Yeah, she's probably one of my favorites.
Interesting.
People can hardly ever do her right, but when she's done right, she's done very well.
There was that one I want to share with you. Think because we are talking about Marvel. Then also, I tried to find this because I was traveling out of town. I visited my mom, and there's like a comic book shop near her, like
Okay.
where she lives. So Marvel actually distributed Barbie comics in the '90s.
Oh, that's
I don't
so
know if you guys knew
cool.
that, but
I did not know Barbie had comics.
I tried to. I couldn't find it for the show. I thought it would have been a cool
Oh,
prop. So sorry.
you could go on eBay, watch it be like $500, be like, "Oh,
Yeah,
never
right.
mind." And then
I buy that as long as you buy the Dracula one.
oh my goodness. Oh, yeah, that's, oh. She was I shouldn't have at the time, but I think there was one a while ago for bid at, like, 500, and that's pretty cheap for the vampire, and I was like, "No, Anji, don't."
Oh,
So I missed it.
I should listen to the voice next time. No, I'm
I
joking. But that was just my two like things I wanted to share with the stream. But
yeah.
thank you again for coming through. Pletho says it's been a fun glimpse into a parallel reality. Yeah, and that's why I was like, I wanted to like. That's why I was curious about Barbies when you first got into them or got back into them earlier this year
Yeah.
or last year. Sorry.
I know this presentation agitated it. I was like, "Oh, no. I need more." But no, I do love them, and I'm always glad. I mean, I was really happy that you were interested in hearing more because, sometimes when you say, you tell people Barbies, they have a very, ingrained idea of what Barbie is just because of what the company pushes out, and it's always
Yeah,
great to show people that, like, they can actually get really artistic and really cool with their Barbies. You just kinda have to look in the right area. Unfortunately, Barbie nowadays is really bad. I wouldn't suggest buying Barbies now, they're really bad quality, but, look for the old Barbies. They're they did some really cool lines.
it just comes at a price.
Yeah, I know, I felt bad after I looked up and I was like, "Wow, I just chose all the really expensive ones." I promise there are cool Barbies out there that are affordable.
No, but it's cool though. It's still cool to learn about this. Before there were Hot Toys, there were Barbies, so that's what we had back.
Yeah.
Uh, thanks, Articulator says hello, and
Oh,
I guess
hi, articulated.
you said nice mythology lesson. Thank you. The voice is so dangerous,
It
though.
is, it is.
It was very interesting to learn so much. It's always nice to pick up new knowledge. Yeah,
Oh, good.
and hopefully that did. You guys were able to learn more. I for sure did, and that's why like I know it doesn't help, but everyone usually thinks like Barbie that
Yes,
pink logo.
very.
But that is a signature line. But I mean, yeah, there's definitely more to that, and I'm glad you get the chance to share some, and hopefully we'll have another one at some point,
Yeah,
part
there's,
two.
like, definitely other dolls I would love to highlight, that aren't kind of collection based. There's always just the really individual dolls that are just really cool, but,
Yeah.
I had to, like, narrow it or it would have been just a crazy directionless path.
No, this one was cool. Thank you again for coming by and
Yeah, thank you
doing
for
a live
having me on
stream.
my yeah, thank you for letting me talk Barbies. I know that's not usually what the channel does, but,
No, it's fun to learn new stuff.
diversity.
Yeah, and thanks to everyone that participated and knocked it out of the park with your guesses because I sure as hell didn't.
I did
but
them because I had the eBay app. So
right. I was so tempted to go on my phone. I was like, I have to get one, but no, I didn't. But no, thank you again. And thanks everyone joining us. And we'll see you all next time. Bye.
bye.